All right, we're live. I hit the button. They can see us. So whatever shit we were talking before, don't do it. So
Stop it now.
Stop it now. What's going on, everybody? I'm going to try to focus on the camera. I'm not very good about that on our lives on the true crime side, but I've got 3 different screens going, trying to manage a lot of shit. So just deal with it for me for a moment. But welcome to Shenanigans. This is the first, it's not our first live. We've done a couple of other lives. Amber's been a part of those. We just didn't put them out there for public consumption necessarily. And so this is our first one that I got bullied into by Carrie and others. But I'm the creator of the channel. Amber on the screen, she's the one covered in tats there. She is one of the Shenanigans crew, and everybody here probably knows Carrie. She's my true crime partner. And the reason that Shenanigans came about is Carrie and I, we met each other through the Kansas Moms case. We became really close friends. We did lives. I'm comfortable on live. She's like, I fucking hate lives. I don't want to do them, but you're great at them, so let's do them. She does not like them. No. And so she liked my presence on there, and she's like, you need to open up a channel. You have to. I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. I do this crap for a living. I get a paycheck to be on video. And she's like, do you see my point? And so I told her, if I did, this is what I would do. I would have an open forum of conversation, tough conversations with dark, twisted Gen X humor, because that's what we are. R-rated type of language, because that's what Gen Xers do. That's how we manage. We curse and we laugh. That's how we deal with shit. That's all there is. And drink. So, and I know what Amber's doing.
Cheers.
Yes. So that's what Shenanigans is all about. We are going to have, we're going to talk about the things that we can't talk about on the true crime side. Carrie knows what I'm talking about there. Amber is going to catch up very, very quickly. But there's things that we will not discuss, because it's on the true crime side. We talk about the actual situation. But over here, so we've said it a few times on the Carrie Moody true crime, we're not going to talk about that. We'll take that over to Shenanigans. And so that's what we're here for. We are looking, hopefully there will be a few others in the conversation here shortly. Margaret DeYounger is here, and Yep is here. They're aware of some of what the discussion is up tonight. Amber's being blindsided, but she'll catch up very, very quickly. And so a couple of rules of engagement. Shenanigans has got a Facebook. I just opened it up today. Carrie's swatting flies over there.
Flying around me.
So there's a couple rules of engagement. They're not strict, but this is, again, it's tough conversations. We're going to say some things that are uncomfortable. We're going to challenge some things with questions that we don't want to ask, but we know are healthy to ask. If you are the kind that's a jerk, lead with that. Let us know you're a jerk, so that when you say something, we don't think it's personal. We know it's just you. That would be helpful. Be accepting. Being accepting and being supportive are 2 different concepts. If you accept somebody, that means you get it. That's how they live. Doesn't mean you have to support them. Being supportive, you guys know how to do that. I've seen you guys do that. Try not to judge. I know it's hard. Some cases it's really freaking easy. We all know who we're talking about here. But if you judge, you can't learn. If you're judging, that leaves very little room for learning. And then engage. You guys are in the chat. I don't know who you are, Sconroy, but I think I love you too. Is it Sconroy, Scoroy? I don't know what that is, but I bet we know you. I'm pretty sure we probably know Sconroy. But engage with us. Ask the questions. We can highlight stuff. I think only I don't even know if I made one of you like a contributing person tonight, so I may have to highlight everything on my own. I wasn't smart enough to take care of that, but engage. Ask the tough questions. If it's not something we should ask, we'll probably just ignore it. Don't take that to heart. It's just something we know we can't get into. But ultimately tonight, we're going to talk about community standards versus social standards. This is specific to social media. If you've been following Carrie and I on the true crime side, you have a strong idea of what we're talking about. Amber, you're going to catch in. I've told you guys a little bit about that on the social media side with the true crime stuff and some of the shenanigans that we've been dealing with and trying to work through. So we're going to open that discussion up tonight, and the challenges Carrie and I have had in taking the high road. And you know how much I love to take the high road when it comes to certain bullshittery. And
Phoebe
so
said politics. No, it's worse than
No.
it's
politics.
worse than politics. Way
No.
worse. Phoebe, we need to catch you up too. Run for Justice knows, Yip knows, and Biscotti knows. So Margaret knows. You guys are all. Maxine knows. There's a lot of people in the chat who know exactly what we're talking about. So we're going to get into that tonight. That'll definitely lead us into toxic personalities, and that's definitely going to take us into controlling activities of those toxic personalities. So first things first. I'm Tara Parker. I don't have a hidden YouTube name, so you can't dox me because I'm doxing myself every time I introduce myself. But on these shenanigans, we always talk about, well, the last couple I say always, like we've been doing this for years. I invite everybody to have a drink with them just to kind of settle down, relax, to kind of just ease off. So I always, and we do we've got a couple of shenanigans talks out there. I'm a big wine drinker, and so I'm drinking Cabernet tonight from, where's it from? Australia. It's like, I knew I was going to screw it up. My Cabernet is from Australia, so it's a real big, robust wine. I'm going to introduce Amber next, because most of you know Carrie, so we'll save the best for last. But Amber has been my best friend since, I don't math well. What is it, 20 years?
2007.
Were the boys 5 or were they 3? They were 5. They were starting school. They were almost in kindergarten.
They were getting ready to start kindergarten.
So it's been a long ass time.
Uh-huh.
Good. Yip's got her wrenched. Good. So we met through, she was a real estate agent. I was working for the real estate company, and I was like, God, she's gorgeous. I would like to be her friend. I sounded like a complete lesbian, but I was just lonely. That's all it was. And then I invited her to a premiere jewelry party. I invited a few people. She was the only one that showed up. I'm like, oh my God, that gorgeous blonde showed up to maybe she'll be my friend. And then as we got to know one another, she's like, I thought you were gorgeous too, and I wanted to be your friend for that reason. I'm like, okay, so great minds. This is pretty awesome. And then we had kids the same age, and we'll have to do a shenanigans talk on the whole MILF night thing we used to have. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Lots of stories.
So Amber, tell a little bit about yourself because nobody here knows you. They've not seen our stuff. And so this will be fun to get to know you.
Yeah. I did not prepare a speech.
I know. That's what I do to you. It's kind of like Lady Marmalade night, no? I still owe you.
Yeah. So I'm Amber. I lived in Wichita for 20 years, which is where Tara and I became really good friends. But then I moved away to Stillwater. And after I moved to Stillwater, her and I rekindled our friendship. There's some tea there. So anyway, maybe we'll get into it one of these days.
Oh, we're going to.
But yeah, so I live in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Right now I'm a little bit underemployed, but I have big plans. So I'm doing spray tans right now. So give me a little follow, Shimmer by Amber on Instagram.
Shameless plug. I love it.
And what else? What do you want to know? I'm an open book. I don't know where to start.
We're not readers. I don't know.
I was born in Oklahoma City. But no, I
don't. So Amber is, if you needed somebody who has no shame, Amber is that person. I have stories to prove it. She's just like,
oh no, I have shame.
You don't show it very well. You don't show it worth a damn.
It's only in certain situations.
Right? Yes, correct. When there's situations like an alcohol, no shame. So and yeah, if you're looking for a job, Phoebe says don't do Tupperware.
Don't worry. I'm not. No.
So, no.
Amber, and juxtaposition. Thank you very much for pointing out the tattoos. Gorgeous. A few places actually. So, I don't know. We'll take that offline. Hit me up later. Yeah.
Amber is on. Do you want me to put your Facebook out there or no? It's not like they can't find you. They do. Yeah, they follow us on Facebook. They're going to find you. So she's on Facebook. It's Amber Flady, isn't it?
Just Amber Flady.
Yeah.
It's lady with an F in front of it. So there you go.
It's lady with an IE, not a Y. There's a
I
difference.
know, but
You're trying to be shady there.
you know.
This is why we hang out, because she's always forgetting a detail. I'm like, that's not how we do that. And then we move
Gotta
up
throw them
to
off the trail a little bit.
a little bit. They'll find you. They will. All right. And then we have to come to Carrie. And Katie will be with us soon. You guys will, God, you'll love Katie. If you ever needed an unfiltered best friend, you guys think I'm unhinged and unfiltered? Katie puts me to shame, quite honestly. Like, I can't keep up with her. She's awesome. But Carrie, you
Oh
go.
dear. This feels like a job interview. Yeah, so I'm Carrie Moody. That's it.
That's
I
it.
don't know. That's it.
How did we
Um,
meet, Carrie? Go with that.
So I too live in Oklahoma, and Tara and I met when I started the Facebook group for the Kansas women that were missing at the time. And she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, do you need some help?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, we're drowning." Um, there were no mods at all. So it was crazy. And it just kind of developed from there. It's been a wonderful journey with Tara. And like I said, I live in Oklahoma as well. That's about it. I don't like to share a lot of information for good reason. Some of it is what we're probably going to talk about this evening.
Yeah.
Online can be something else. So I
Yes,
have
it can.
grandbabies, I have adult kids, grandchildren, things like that. So yeah,
It's awesome.
that's it. True crime
Sweet.
is just like, that's my jive. That's my thing.
I didn't think I was going to get into it. I love true crime. And up until you and I started working the case together, Carrie, I was listening to true crime day in, day out, all the time. And I'm like, why am I doing this? This is not what I like. Maybe I tried to shake it up here or there and kept coming back to it. And the next thing I know, I'm wrapped up in the Kansas mom's case and I'm telling the Shenanigans crew about it. And they're like, really? Okay. And they're supportive, but they're like, you're fucking crazy, Tara. Like, what are you doing? And then it turns
I
into
mean,
where we're at today. And it's something, there's a lot on the background that we haven't gotten to cover and share yet. And it's a whirlwind, and it's going to be a whirlwind for a while, honestly. So but to get to the point of the matter, what we came here to do was talk shenanigans. I love that word. I was introduced to that word as I didn't think it was a real word until one of my literary friends that I worked with at a university here in Wichita was like, it's totally a real word. And I use it frequently. And so we were coming up with the name for this channel. It originally started as the Terra Talks, and it was coined by a friend of mine named Cindy, because I do a lot of public speaking at work, and I have a public speaking appearance once a year at an IT conference, and it just kind of made sense. And I was talking to the Shenanigans crew, and they're like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, but let's come up with something else." And so I thought of the idea of shenanigans, and the girls loved it. How we spell it's going to be different every time. You'll never see it the same way twice. But the idea is it's discussing the undiscussable. What we can't do in one space, this is where we discuss it at. And so again, if you hear something you don't like, you're not used to, you're unsure of, you can let us know in the chat. That's cool. We'll try to kind of work around that. But honestly, this is going to be pretty raw discussion. We are Gen X. It is R-rated type of stuff. So if you hear curse words, I say we. Carrie doesn't curse as much as I do on her channel. I didn't realize it was a rule originally. I just kind of went with it. But I'm like, but she doesn't stop me either. So you'll hear some things
listen,
here.
Carrie has a sailor's mouth. I really
No
do.
shit, she does. I know. She's also
Just not
short as
on my
hell.
channel. Yes, very, very, very short. Like not even 5'1", kind of short.
But she's adorable. She's fun sized. The good kind of fun sized, Amber, not the other kind of fun sized, if you remember. Annie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So
we could make an entire podcast about Annie.
that kind of person. Yes. And Phoebe, we will be very careful to not take the Lord's name in vain. Agreed. I try not to do that. I'm not super religious. I still don't feel good when I say something that's oriented to God and not in a fashion. So but you can correct us if we don't catch it, Phoebe. You can tell us, hey, stop that, and we'll correct that. But for fuck's sake, we're going to say other things. But I'm sure you don't care. So the matter at hand, we wanted to talk about the community standards versus social standards, and this is important because community standards impact this channel. I don't know who you people were, but we just started this channel maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, Amber. It's not been very long. There's a few videos out there. We were doing a soft opening, trying to build some content before we did a hardcore, publicly known scheduled live or video. And then some of you, runs for justice and Carrie and a few others kept pressuring me to do this, and rightfully so. It was the right thing to do, and I needed a little bit more of a push, so I got it. And so this channel does not have, it's not money driven, right? It's something's going to come of it. I don't know what, but we're going to go with it and see what happens. I think after talking with Carrie and the Shenanigans crew, I think we've got something pretty special here. It's like I said, I don't call it a safe space. It's just a space to be genuine and open and whoever the hell you are. So with that, Carrie and I ran into some roadblocks on YouTube. She had been doxxed. We both have been slandered, insulted to the point, Amber, when I take a high road, that means I'm in a position where taking the high road's the right thing. Otherwise, you've seen me. I've got a thing or two I'll say to somebody. I'll get in somebody's face. It's been a while, and I need to be pretty heated up. But I was accused of trying to sleep with somebody who lives 4.5 hours away because I did a live about that person and how they were not connected to a murder case. This person had been dragged through the mud. Things didn't look all that great. And I told Carrie, I'm going to go investigate this. I'm going to go hit this person up. I'm going to get some information. I'm going to see if we can make something of this. I got complete cooperation. That person worked with me on the slides. I created all the slides, gave it to Carrie. We did a live. And it was a good live. I think it was a very well-received one. But the next day, another social media creator, and there's several in the chat who know exactly who I'm talking about, so we don't need to put out names. It's not about that. It's about the experience, right? That person went on a live and talked about how I was trying to date that person, sleep with that person. Carrie was trying to date that person, sleep with that person, made it a completely sexual-oriented ordeal. Took it completely away from the focal point, which was the case at hand. 2 women were murdered, and we were trying to put pieces together to make sense of everything. And it was hard not to. She only lives like 10 minutes from me, Amber. So showing up at her front door would not have been that hard.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'll take the high road.
Hmm.
I'll leave it alone. I'll act like I didn't hear it. But I mean,
what was the point of her making that accusation? Like, what did she get out of it that?
So hold on, Phoebe, I see what you're doing. I'm just going to make you a mod. Hold on a second. Phoebe's working already. She's working the channel, so I'm just going to make her a damn mod and get it over with. She's over here like, hit subscribe and like. So you're a mod.
And it's great to see all of you guys in here.
It is. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So we never went back and asked her, to be honest with you. That would be the right answer. We did not go back and ask her what her point was. Carrie spent time with her personally at the very beginning of the whole thing. And it was clear that was not a good, it was a staticky type relationship. Like, it's not one of those things that clicked very well. So it's just better to part ways and go back to life as you knew it and do what you were going to do. That individual was very headstrong. That the individual, the social media creator was hell bent on the person we did the live on as being a guilty party, being involved, conspiracy theory type stuff. And rightfully so. A lot of us we were all on the same page until it's like, man, we have enough rabbit holes. Let's take some and get rid of them. And in true crime, rabbit holes will find you. You do not have to go after them. You will fall into one without even trying.
Yes.
And so this person just had made some, and it's not just been us, it's been other people, specifically family members. So we've got a social media creator creating content that's hurtful, impactful in a negative way. It's not helping the case. And Carrie and I had a lot of strong conversations about, do we address this? Do we leave it alone? And so we decided that the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, there would be no other social media content out there. And somebody posted, there's a really great social media person out there. He does a good job reporting. I think he's very fair and balanced. I'm hoping he's in the chat. If he is, I'll let him identify himself. He's in that area too. I contacted him today, inviting him to join us. And oh, thank you, Run for Justice. I appreciate that. It was a long couple of weeks. But I mean, that individual was impacted by the other social media creator. So there was attacks, shots fired in every direction. But we just decided to take the high road, do as best you can, and just and you can see, if you see in the chat, Amber, there's going to be a few more. There's already somebody, Narcissist Hunter, has said she's doxed me and so many others. So doxing Amber in the social media world means like you take Carrie Moody is her social media name. She has a quote unquote real name. Mm-hmm. I don't have a social media name. I didn't know any better. I just went with my name, which they were like, hey, you're using your real name. You're on camera. I'm like, yes. And what's the problem? I don't get it. They're like, shut your camera down. And so this woman put Carrie's real name out there. That's doxing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Address, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personal information. There is a truce agreement out there saying if you don't mention me, I won't mention you. It's that kind of thing, and you know what that is, Amber. When you say if you don't talk about me, I won't have to talk about you. If you hadn't done this, I wouldn't have to do that. It's your fault, really, that I have to act the way that I act.
Sounds like a bad boyfriend.
Right.
So it's yeah, and like I said, Amber, if you watch there's a lot of individuals who were close to her at one point that all got burned badly. So
that's too bad.
And I want to say too, like, this isn't just her. This happens a lot on YouTube, especially. It's really a problem. A lot of people get hurt very badly. People get threats. People get death threats. That's why I said in the beginning, I don't know how much of my information I want to put out there. But if they want to find you, they will. It's wrong in every way possible to do that to somebody. We all have families. We all have people that love us, those that we love, those that we want to protect. And so for anybody on social media, whether it's this person or anybody, it doesn't matter. It really is a huge problem. It happens a lot.
Oh yeah, it's a popular activity.
It's like a blackmail kind of thing is the way I look at it.
You always hear, right? I never thought I would do XYZ. Coming to YouTube, I still, like, when I got stuck in Guyman the other day, and they're like, what are you doing in Guyman if you're not from here? I'm like, I'm a podcaster.
Right. And I do the same because it's almost embarrassing at this point.
I do true crime.
Some of them.
Well, it's just, there's that stigma is still there, and everybody was very kind in Guyman to me. They were super great, and they got me out of trouble in Guyman. So a big shout out to the folks in Guyman. But it was such an eye-opening experience, Amber. It's like the relationships that you and I have been in. Carrie, I'm sure, has been in them too, where you're the problem. It's you. Obviously, you're the issue, not me. I don't have any problems. You're the reason why I'm abusive. You're the reason why I'm mean. If you didn't do what you did, I wouldn't have to do what I did. And so it has been a hard ass road to take that higher elevation.
Yes.
And
very hard.
Not sink to her level and give her. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to tell her she has eyes and ears everywhere. They're in the Facebook group. I'm sure they're in Shenanigans already. There's a Facebook group for Shenanigans. I'm sure they're in the channel tonight because we have got 32 watching. One of them, I'm sure somebody in this group is, and that's cool. But this is the space to talk about that. And so she'll go on her channel tomorrow, and she will completely put this whole thing down. And I want
to say something real quick too. If there is somebody in here that's from that other channel or even any other channel that you see the creator is doing things like this, I hope that you can listen to what we're saying. I hope you can see and understand the hurt that it has caused. And that's not just me and Tara. You can see the chat, and there's more than the chat. And I hope that you can walk away thinking a little differently about supporting those kind of actions from other people.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the family of the women that were the family the impacted. They told us when we were there in Guyman how much damage she has caused and continues to cause them every day. And so it's
Do you read Yep's comment real quick, Tara?
which the most latest one or the one before?
It's a 2-part one.
Let me go back and find it. I see.
I wasn't going to say anything. That one.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
this is from Yep. She's one of our mods. She mods on our true crime. She's a super reliable person. Says, I wasn't going to say anything, but I've gotten emails of concerning things. I was sent a donation that was later asked to be refunded. I think to hurt my PayPal account and all from me showing someone's own words. So what she's saying is that this individual always said, I don't do this for the money, no money, but was actually taking donations. And then whatever she's doing with it, I don't know. I don't have the receipts for it. And Yep can get more into that one. But the emails including asking me if I let my kids be abused.
Wow.
So
Goodness.
now this
that's the extent that these things will go to.
So this individual actually threatened me. She sent me a private message on Facebook. I have the screenshot. She doesn't know I saw it. She doesn't realize how Facebook works. She's admitted that numerous times. I did see that message, and whoever's out there, whoever her eyes and ears are, you are more than welcome to tell her I saw the message. I screenshot it, and then I checked it out. Nobody knows her at the space because she threatened my work. She threatened my job. She threatened to go to my job, and all she said was that she knew where I worked. She used to work there. She still has all her contacts. She shows up there all the time. She's still heavily involved, despite the fact she's retired. And I didn't message back. I did what a true crime person does. I went and investigated it. Not a single person knows who she is. Not one of them. I don't know if she's been gone too long or if it's just been a major turnover. Nobody knew who she was. Now, her threat was empty, and she didn't know that because I don't work out of a Wichita team. My team's in Montreal, but she didn't know that. She didn't investigate me. Now, I had investigated her and found her felony record and her numerous court requests for court appearances in the city she was living in, which is just the city west of Derby. Use your maps. And she'd been invited to court numerous times. I think it was for collections and shit like that. I don't think they were all like arrests. I think it was, hey, you owe us money, come to court and talk to us about it, is what it looks like. But if you ask her.
Also,
yeah.
To add to what Tara was just saying about her job, my adult daughter, who has my 2 grandsons, she works for a sheriff's department. And this person called the sheriff to try to get my daughter fired. My daughter's not even a creator. She's really not on social media. She has nothing to do with this stuff. And she tried to get my daughter fired. That's just horrible, man. That's horrible to do that to anybody.
Yep.
Threatened to come to my town.
Yep. These are things that we kept under our hats.
All these months.
This was back in April. This whole ordeal started March 30th. And all this shit went down in April. All of it. From the threat she made to me to Carrie, all of it. And we kept it under our hats. We knew she had a felony record. We
never doxed her, never put out information, and really never said a bad word either.
No, because I had that by day 3 when Carrie was with her on day 3 out there. When they and it was my suggestion that she meet up with her to make sure they were safe. By day 3, I kind of, when she said that, hey, she said the town she was living in or the town that she was from was 20 miles from Derby when it's 5 minutes from Derby. I knew something was up. Then she talked about the first time she mentioned she had 9 children, and then she said she had 7. I'm like, how the hell do you not know how many kids you got? What is happening here? Like I am so, I'm like, And then Carrie calls me on day 3 and she's like, am I wrong? Is something? I'm like,
Yeah.
nope, stop it. Get
Yeah, I said,
get
I'm
out.
seeing some red flags here. Is it just me overreacting? And I had never even spoken to Kara personally until that point. And she said, nope, nope, you're not overreacting. And
Mm-mm.
we just decided at that point that I'd keep the peace. And there's no reason to not keep the peace. I was there for a reason, and it wasn't for this other person. It was there for these women, and
Right.
I was going to see that through as long as I could. I felt like we had left on good terms. Our Facebook group has 20,000 people in it,
Yeah.
so because of that, we have certain things set up where Facebook automatically will handle things for us. So, for instance, nobody can just post a link in there because we want to see what that is first, right? We don't want,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, if everybody just posted random links and random videos, it would be super crazy. And that's not what we wanted. So if you try to go and make a post in that Facebook group and you include a link, it will automatically deny it. And then we can go back in and we can manually approve it. Well, because that link was automatically denied, and I had only been home from the panhandle for a couple hours that evening. Because that link was automatically denied, that is when I got the text message with the threats. And that is when my daughter, she attempted to get her fired and Tara. This is over a link on Facebook, you guys.
Yep.
A link on Facebook not being shared for one of her lives. And the
Yeah.
whole time I was there, anybody can go back and look at my channel. I never did lives. There's a reason. I couldn't do them. First of all, she used my phone the entire time. I had offered my phone, so I'm not complaining about that. But I never had a chance to do any. And when I finally did, the very last night, after being there for 7 days, she was angry as hell at me. Angry as hell. And my live was just to thank the community and kind of explain my experiences with them. That's all it was. So it was a very horrible thing to do to somebody where I didn't feel like I had done anything wrong. And then from there, my name was trashed, still is to this day.
Oh, not
Fam-
just trash, but she slanders you to say that she
oh my
paid for
gosh.
everything for you.
She told family members that I went out there with no money. She had to pay for everything. That I pull up in a nice car but didn't have any money. Well, that's not true. That's not. Who in the hell is going to drive 5 hours with no money? That doesn't even make
Correct.
sense. It's just horrible. And yeah, I just really hope that she thinks about what she's done to people.
She doesn't.
I
She's still
I
doing
hope that
it.
she will end it with others. This is
Well,
not what Tara and I do.
you saw her community post. She put a post out there recently,
Yes.
Amber, that said, "If you don't
But that
mention me, I
said,
won't mention you guys. If you don't come after
right.
me, I won't come
But
after
that
you. It'll
said
be
all
your
the
fault."
time, then yet I receive messages the next day after a live, da 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 was said. And
Mhm.
it's just it's insane.
Yep. Oh, her investigative skills, folks. She says she's a state investigator, Amber. She was on the HR side, not a
Sorry.
state investigator like you would think. State investigations like
Right.
criminal, it's HR. She was on the
Yeah.
HR side of investigations. So all she would tell
Okay.
people is that she's a state investigator because she's in true crime. So it sounds like a qualifier.
Yeah.
And from what we understand, and while we can't prove it, we have no documentation, I don't believe. We have been told multiple times she was an HR state
Mm-hmm.
investigator. So she didn't actually have the criminal investigative skills that she was. Now, she never actually said that she had those. She just kind of a lead on type of thing.
Right. Yes, where
Mm-hmm.
you kind of let people take it for what they will kind of thing.
So, Run for Justice is asking, can we email you our stories for you to tell for next time?
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. You can email me right now. In fact, if you guys have the burner number, if you, because I don't want to make you here, I'll put the burner number in the chat, and I have all my screens up. So Amber, I use a burner number for the true crime stuff, so we can get anonymous information in.
Yeah.
And then, so if you guys want to put something in there, I have it up on the screen right now. It can come on my phone and my screen. You're anonymous. Nobody's going to know it's you. Yeah. Or you could email us. Carrie, what's the email we want to use? Which email do we want to use for that? I can put mine up, or there's a, oh, you know what? There's a Shenanigans one, because we don't want to split the true crime one. Oh, is that Shenanigans? First off, can I spell Shenanigans? I can't remember if it's Shenanigans Talks or just Shenanigans. Hold on, let me look real quick, because I'm that smart. Okay, it is Shenanigans Talks. I just put the email shenaniganstalks@gmail.com in the chat, so you are more than welcome to share your stories on this side to that email. And Angel Suze, what we are talking about is community standards versus social standards. This is a social media thing where Carrie and I experienced firsthand when we've got somebody that is making a competition when there is no competition.
Right.
So Carrie and I do a true crime channel. It's her channel. I infiltrated it. She invited me, whatever. It's details. I call it our channel. And I feel bad every time I do that. And so we don't talk about our personal experiences in terms, if it doesn't relate to the case directly, we don't talk about it. That is something that Carrie and I made a pact on. If it doesn't add to the integrity of the case, if it doesn't protect the families, if it's not factual information, we do not share it. But we needed a
Well, and
space
if you're
to talk.
talking true crime, people don't want to hear your drama. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear you talking crap on other people. I know I certainly don't. If I want to hear that, I'm going to go to a drama, or what we call in true crime, crama channel, that combines the true crime with the drama. That's not what my channel is. And this isn't just about this one creator. This is just our personal experience that we were affected by, and we know so many others were. But there are so many out there doing it, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. And to me, it's sad. It's really sad. It's very hurtful. People make horrible accusations that you have to try to go behind and clean up. And it's just so wrong. And I really hope that some people will take some good from this. This isn't a let's chew your ass session, to me anyway. It's more of a,
Jesus.
yeah, I've heard that too. How would I steal
Phoebe,
$300 from her phone?
Phoebe, I
That
caught
didn't even make
myself. Did you
sense.
hear me, Phoebe? I caught myself before I finished my statement. I was going to use the Lord's name in vain because I was not thinking, but I caught myself. I deserve a drink of wine for that. I hadn't heard that one. She actually put a dollar amount on it, or at least there is a dollar. I don't know. I didn't hear her say it right, but oh my
My
God.
tire was $20, by the way, 20. I actually went there to get it fixed on my own, and then she showed up. So if there was an intention on her paying for my $20 tire fix, why the heck did I go by myself without her? Didn't even tell her where I was going, because at this point we weren't getting along very well.
Nope. And I remember that because by day 3, I was telling her I'm done. Stop. I'm going to put it out there. Carrie's internet reception was terrible out there in certain spots. And so she would send me little tidbits of information, because we had the agreement, if I send you something, just investigate it, just research it and send me everything you can back. And so that's what I was doing. And so I was sending her stuff, and we ran into several pieces of information. She would share it with I almost slipped up and said it, didn't I? That's awesome. She would share it with the other person, and then that person would report it, but it wasn't quite right. And I finally got frustrated, because I'm very much about, if I'm going to report it, and Amber God, I hope she can back me up on this. She's known me for long enough. It's one thing for me to tell a fun story to make people laugh. It's another thing for me to put information out there that is towards a delicate situation. I don't want to put people down just because I'm a mean, nasty person. And I finally got frustrated and told Carrie, stop telling her the crap I'm telling you. Stop sharing it. She's literally fucking it up. Just stop. And that's when we got on the phone and we talked about what we were both starting to understand in our interpretation. And so, and yes, Scooby-Doo 420. I'm just going to call you Scooby. Yes, I do remember. It's like rules for me, but not for thee, which is funny because she's a Trump supporter. So there were several things that that were they were hard to choke down.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, when I came back, I was just gonna let it be, even after I got the text that night with the threat, and even after my daughter, even after Tara.
mhm.
Those that watch my channel know that we've never said a word.
No, and we will not. That's what this channel's for. We'll say it over here, but we won't say it
Yes,
over
because
there.
we were and we continue to take the high road on it. But
Yes,
I think that this conversation is important as an all-around conversation.
correct. Now, there's another thing to point out, and I will share this, and it was shared with me by, I'm going to call them officials. We're going to put it that way. That person kept talking about having a gun in their vehicle. There was no gun in her vehicle that belonged to her. And officials were listening to all the lives and heard her talk about her gun and were tempted to pull her over to search her car and find a felon with a gun because they knew her record and they were sharing it with other individuals that were supposed to be shared with. But they knew that if they pulled her over and there was no gun in the vehicle, there was nothing they could do. I heard that. That is information I heard firsthand from officials. That's not secondhand. That's not a screenshot. That's me having a conversation direct that they knew Carrie was carrying, but they were curious if the other one truly was because they were tired of it because they knew what was happening at that point in time. Phoebe, is she in contact with the families? To my understanding, only one. It would be, so I'm going to be careful here, right? Because this channel is not about that channel's content. So I'm going to be very careful. It would appear, yes, that she's in contact with a family member. It would appear that that family member is a child, we'll call it that, maybe an adult child of somebody who's in trouble right now. Otherwise, no. I do not. The families that we have talked to, and we've talked to quite a few, very, very close family members, no, they are not talking with her at
But
all.
see, that's the thing. It took them some time. It took them being hurt as well. And there is never a good reason to hurt family members. They are victims as well. And it took them some time and they got burned as well. So it's just an awful situation and I hope that it stops.
I hope so too. I don't think it will, especially after this channel is exposed to
Okay.
her, and I fully expect to be spotlighted. Now, and I'll be honest with you folks, I'm giving her a damn good reason to finally spotlight somebody because we are coming out with the stuff that we have been holding on to for a long time. Oh, goody, I will check email, narcissist hunter. I think we need it. Your name alone makes me want to pull you up on panel, doesn't it, Amber?
It totally does.
Is that she showed an alleged old badge and it said state investigator, human resources. Is that even a thing? I don't know, but we could find out. We could totally find out. If you allegedly she talks to Wrangler and has helped. So she had there was a live today. Go check out the, I don't want to say go check out the live, right? But there was a phone call from
Yeah,
Wrangler
don't.
to her on her live. I don't know how that was possible, but I proved she is monetized the other day. Why she is lying is beyond me. I'd like
You
to
can
see
tell when somebody is monetized.
that dollar
So
sign
for
shows up.
Yes. Okay. So for instance, on Tara's chat, if you look at it, there's just a smiley face because Tara's not monetized. However, if there's a, what is it, a dollar sign or something that's usually down there, something like
Yeah, the
that, you
dollar
click
sign.
on that instead, and you can give memberships, you can do super chats. For that to happen, the channel has to be monetized. It has to be connected to a Google account of somebody's. There's no way around it. And it doesn't, YouTube doesn't just monetize your channel. You have
Yeah.
to ask them to monetize your channel. Yeah.
So
Yep,
blingy,
correct.
I'll try, but it's kind of my cathartic. I don't abuse drugs. I don't abuse alcohol. I like my wine, but I don't drink it all day long. Cursing's about my only cathartic release. Do you have another option for me? I'll use my flipper instead of the other F word. Does that work? I mean, I got to do something. I'm gonna try to
I can't make any promises.
I'm trying.
I'm so sorry.
I gave Phoebe a promise. I can only give so many promises on that level. I'll try blinging. You can totally come down on me. I'll give you permission to tell me I'm being bad if I say things that are upsetting to you.
Smack.
Tara, this is almost funny because I first talked to you about her back in May. Did you, Phoebe? It's been so long since you've been on the dang save blingy. I'm trying. Phoebe, use the burner number and remind me. I think I know the conversation you're talking about, but just quickly remind me if you would, please. And I did get something on the burner number, so I'm gonna check that here in a second. Yep, I follow that channel. More and more people are finding they are being dissed by her. Yeah. Yeah. Are they issued a badge? I think what she knows is fake. Well, to be honest, I know her ex-husband was a U.S. Marshal. I have confirmed that one. He was. I don't know what the timeline was with the marriage and the U.S. Marshal and all that great fun stuff. I don't know when all that was, right?
And I've never looked into any of it.
No.
I didn't care enough to look into it.
By that time, I was exhausted with it. And so I don't know if maybe, you know how when you do a divorce, or I don't know if they like rotate badges out. I don't know whose badge it is because it doesn't, like there's no correlation there. So I don't know. The worst part is she damaged the family. Yes, that is huge. And that's what gets me. Carrie and I are super protective of these families. We've worked really hard with a lot of patience and tolerance to go at their rate, on their terms. And they shared with us that
gain their trust and to show that and prove that we are trustworthy enough for them to be able to openly talk with us and know that we're not running to our YouTube live and spreading it or anything. We just don't.
Angel, tell me more about my mom's channel. Be honest, that sends
which one of our mom?
That sends Blaine, I'm sorry, I'm gonna curse. That sends a flipping shiver down my spine. And if do you know my mom? That would be interesting.
That's scary.
Oh boy. That's let me check burner number. Hold on, because I have oh darn. Say blinging. I'm trying, honey. I am so trying. Oh my God. I don't know if you're talking about, does any of our moms have a channel on? My mom doesn't. So I'm kind of like, if you know my mom, or wait, are you talking about
your mom?
If that is hilarious. If Carrie's 5 years older than me. That's awesome. I don't know who you are, but I love you.
People usually call me mom. I would be happy to call you mom instead. I love that. So
who put the tracker on? Margaret, go into that one a little bit more before I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to assume anything. I called KU. They can't verify her graduation date. Correct. So yes, there are places you can check that. I lost my patience in checking and double checking things on her. So correct. There's ways of validating anything everybody has said. And that includes myself and Carrie, Amber. Go check us out. If you find something that's questionable, holler at me. I don't know if I can explain it. I'll sit down and share a bottle of wine with you and try to tell you why I was stupid, but that's about it. There's some stupid crap in there.
Angel was talking about the Kansas bombs, by the way.
Okay.
Phew. We thought, oh gosh, we're going to be here a while. We're going to talk about Tara's mom too. I'm drinking unsweet tea and might need something stronger for that.
You're going to have to pour some whiskey or vodka or something next. If my siblings are in the chat, man, there's about to be some hate mail coming my way. It's going to get real quick. Lord have mercy. And if my mother is watching, you know what I mean. You and I've been there. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm sure she's not watching. Oh my gosh. I just wonder about that. Thank you for checking. Awesome. I remember that when she allegedly had a tracker on the car. I'll actually address this. Yes, there was a tracker on a car. I am not at liberty at this time, but I will be at some point to go into that. But yes, a tracker was found on a car in this situation on the true crime side. Yes. Once I get the okay, I will share that information and let everybody know how I'll prove it. I'll provide the documentation to it. But yes, there is a tracker in that whole mess of mockery, because I'm trying not to curse for blinging now that she put me on the spot. Damn it.
Yeah, I will say I don't think it was my car. We didn't take my car. I offered it multiple times, but we really just didn't use mine. Mine kind of sat at the motel. Um, when I showed back up and my tire was flat. Won't lie, I was like, "Oh my gosh, did those people come and slice my tires?" But it wasn't. I had ran over a nail. No big deal with that. So
It's awesome. Good times. Let me see what more. My screens are all jacked up. Everything done in the dark always comes to light. Her true colors have definitely come to light, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Agreed, Kelly. It's
I don't
yeah,
think we have to say more. Um, I think that everybody that needs to know knows.
yeah,
I hope that if there are current subs that still watch her, just be careful. Do not share much of your personal information. You will get doxxed when she gets angry at you.
correct.
She
And
will put all your information out there. So
she's
just
done a
be
lot of that to
careful.
the folks in the group. Tell me what a CNC is, Phoebe, and I can tell you what I know about that if anything. Oh, that's very cool. So they're all supportive out there. That's awesome. Lucy Lou,
They've
I
been
think I
very
know who
supportive.
you are. Is that the same Lucy Lou? I
Yeah,
think it is.
it
Sweet.
is.
And if you follow us, if you are our audience on the true crime side, if you will just put a 1 in the chat, it'd be kind of cool to see who's all out there. So um and I know who you're talking about. Yes, the child in OKC. Thank you, Phoebe. Great way to word that. Yes. That's where the communication is as to our understanding. Yes. So let me be clear, my stories don't compare in any way to what the family's been dealing with. I'll agree with you on that one. Family's pretty upset.
Yes,
We've
very.
been, and I'm not going to say family has said this. We have received multiple pieces of communication from multiple people that said, basically, in short, it all sums up to, and Carrie, if there's a better way to say this, go ahead and up me on it, but we chose the wrong creators.
Yeah.
We went the wrong path. We appreciate what you guys are doing, and so
Trusted the wrong ones.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, she's on her 4th set of mods right now. I think 3rd or 4th. She's so Amber. She started with one set that weren't technically hers. She actually intercepted them from another Wichita true crimer, and
Okay.
they followed her with the case that we're all on, and now she's at her 3rd or 4th set of mods now. That's another kind of red flag type of situation. Feel sorry for the family. He does not need to be exposed to her.
I agree, Maxine.
Yep. Never. And that's the purpose of my channel. Not hate, to show people their own actions and bring awareness. Correct. Yep. I do enjoy your channel a lot. And I know she's taking some of your videos and use them on her channel to, all she does, Amber, it's like any other person out there that you and I have had experience with. I know Carrie's had experience too, where it doesn't matter what you say, it's ammunition for them. They'll twist it and turn it. It's not my fault I did this. I did this because they did that type of thing. So
Right.
yes. So terrible how anyone can do that with, yeah. Sorry this happened to you ladies and to the families. We appreciate that, Shannon. It was hard for Carrie and I to hold true to our values and our integrity. There was times where
Very.
she'd be like, can we say this? Should we say this? I'm like, no, let's not. And there were times like, oh, let me say this. She's like, no. So we were both auto correcting the other one, because it's just some of the stuff that we were exposed to. It's like, man, but as so many have said, the truth comes out. True colors get
And that's
seen.
what I kept saying.
Yep.
Karma is a thing. And It will come around, and we don't have to do anything to cause it. Because eventually, if you're going to act that way, your true colors are going to show to people,
Lucy, it's just one of the things. So we're going to take this and it's going to lead into those toxic personalities and the controlling characteristics that they have. So this conversation has been brought up several times on the true crime side. Carrie and I refuse to let that be the focus. We wanted to maintain the focus on the actual situation at hand on the true crime side. Shenanigans was originally about, and remains to be about, raw conversations, open conversations about the experience, not slandering the person. So we're not going to name call here. We are not going to put down, we're going to put out there what we experienced firsthand, because it's,
Yeah, and if we hadn't experienced this firsthand, this probably would not even be a conversation.
no,
But like I said earlier, it needs to be, because this isn't the only person that does these things. There's a
correct.
lot of them,
Yes. And
and
they
people need to
have
protect
all,
themselves.
oh, and they have a lot of followers. Like, they're popular, but I mean, you made a comment the other day is hate watching. So
Yes.
good thing to remember is what goes around comes around. Agree, Phoebe. Murphy's Law and karma, and maybe even higher power, God, are all doing rock, paper, scissors. I've seen it. We'll talk about that in other shenanigans. It's not the time yet. It's one of those too soon, but that's that. I think that's what's going to happen there. I don't think anyone's story with this individual is greater than how she hurt the families, in my opinion. Agreed. Oh yeah, because the child's child was born. Yep. I absolutely love this. Aw, thank you all for giving a voice to those who have been burned badly by her. Lone Star, thank you for saying that. I'm a firm believer in being open and transparent, but in the right setting. And that's what Shenanigans is all about.
Yeah. Until something like this happens to you, I hear a lot, especially on YouTube, because I'm in all the chats and stuff. That's what I do all day. Sorry. You'll hear, well, what's the big deal? Just ignore it. You guys, it's hurtful. It can destroy people. It can
It can
destroy
destroy your
people's
channel.
reputations.
It can destroy
Destroy
an
your
entire
channel.
channel. Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's very hurtful. So until it happens to you, you truly don't understand how hard it is to go through.
Correct. And Run for Justice, yes, I do communicate with Derek. I invited him here tonight. I hope he is here. If he is, I will give him the link to come up and chat. If he doesn't want to, that's cool. Derek is cool. Derek is just even keel, level-headed, down to earth, but with that little fun, eccentric flavor to him. I want to sit down and just hang out with him. He's just got a good vibe and a good aura about him. So Carrie and I have watched his material, and specific to the Kansas Moms case, he has done a good job of presenting information as factually as he can. And he's very open to interpretation, even when he's talked about his experiences with this individual we've been talking about. He has not been slandering or insulting at all. He's got a great heart. So I do appreciate him. And if he's here tonight, I hope he speaks up, and so we can say hi, how you doing? I don't know if he drinks, but we can have a sip of something with him. We'll see. So I tried to highlight that. Hope it gave you even more courage. Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you put that out there. I don't know if you put that out there for us, Run for Justice, or not, but it is, everybody needs a space to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I have been in abusive relationships. I was raised in an abusive household. My siblings would probably argue me on that one. That's cool. My mother would definitely argue. My father would definitely argue with me on that one. But you need a space. I don't care if it's a safe space or not, to say what your interpretation of your experience is. And that's where Shenanigans is going to come into play. We're going to just openly talk. It's not going to be comfortable. There will be some inappropriate humor. There will be some cursing, even though Blinging doesn't want me to curse. I'm going to try Bling. I'm trying, Blinging. I'm trying.
Hey, she admitted that she cusses too.
I haven't seen the
It's
comment
okay.
yet.
It's okay.
Damn, I just got here and got to run. Keep talking. Let me back in 15 minutes. You're on. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, But that's the kind of personality that, right? That's kind of segue into the toxic personalities. Those are the individuals where Carrie and I have been wrong on several occasions with the Kansas Moms case. We go back, we correct it, we move on. We are not being malicious. We are not being destructive. We just realize, oh, okay, this is actually what this said. This is how we're going to correct this. And so we're okay with that. We're okay with saying we were wrong. We'll own it. We're very accountable. We're cool with that because that's how we learn. Not everybody is that way. I was raised in a household like that, and I had several relationships like that. I know for a fact Amber was raised in that kind of aspect with a whole fun religious flavor to it.
Oh boy.
No, I called it. No, I don't. I can't. I could. Can I? No, I won't say because I don't know who's in the chat and what everybody's religious beliefs are. So I won't call them what I call them. But she was raised.
No, hey, if they're good ones, they're not going to be in there. So
Oh.
you say whatever you want.
Touche. Amber was raised in a Jehovah's Witness situation, and when she started informing me about the Jehovah's Witness religion, I was like, oh, they're just a bunch of J-hos. Now, what's even more humorous is the dude she was dating at the time. His name was Jay.
Yeah.
And she was the girlfriend. So
Yeah.
we have J-hos and Jay's ho. That's how I played that out. It was hilarious back in the day. That we'll have a Shenanigans talk about that one later on, but that's what I always called them because everything she described to me, I'm like, God, you guys are, it was just easier to say J-host. So when J-host show up in my door, I'm like, oh, you're J-host. They're like, huh? They're like, genuinely like, what's that mean? I'm like, oh, let me tell you. I'm blacklisted right now by the J-host. They don't come to my house. They literally walk
Well,
over.
good. Hey, then they're not bugging you on Saturday morning. So
No kidding. Kelly says, I love this channel, by the way. It's my first time over here. Everyone seems really fun. So, Kelly, this channel is brand spanking new. We have 2 other videos that we did live. It was just me, the other Shenanigans crew. Amber's one of them. Katie's another one. I don't know if she's going to make it tonight. I was really hoping she would. Kathy is another one, and Bronwyn. And so, the 2 other videos, they're just lighthearted, easy conversations. It did get a little deep when Ryan showed up, and that was really, really awesome. I was hoping Ryan would be here tonight. But that's what this channel is about. One of the reasons that Carrie pushed me so hard for so many months, because Carrie and I have only known each other 6 months, guys, but we act like we've known each other. And we just met for the first time in person on Tuesday night. We had not seen each other in person. And it was like, long lost sisters. It's
Yes.
Amber, it's like being with you. You just have that comfort, and you'll be the same way with her. Just that comfort level kicks
Feels
in.
like we've known each other forever.
Oh my gosh.
that's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
She's very, very cool. And so she's like, Tara, if you could do a YouTube channel, what would you do? And I was like, I would do this. I have a way of getting people to open up and tell their life story. Amber can attest to that. I hope. I keep speaking for you. I'm like, I hope she can back me up on that one. If not, we're screwed. I'm liable. But the idea is getting people to open up about the crap that bothers them, that they can't talk about anywhere else. So eventually we'll talk about things like suicide, which nobody wants to talk about suicide. We'll talk about the abusive relationships, the narcissistic mothers, the abusive siblings. It'll all come out. It'll come out with a little bit of humor because it's uncomfortable, and humor makes things feel better. So, and every medical professional that was any good that I ever talked to, humor's the best medicine for healing. So that's what this channel is about. So Kelly, I'm glad you're here. This is where I do the whole subscribe and like thing, right? Like I'm supposed to say subscribe and like. That feels so weird. That's not my thing. Just show up. Oh my goodness. Oh, me too, Maxine. Absolutely, me too. I'm behind, so far behind. Her attacks and lashing out on me have nothing compared to I totally agree. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Thank you. That's what, they were clarifying that for me. I'm glad you said it because I was like, my mom, that's not good. She doesn't like that. So I'll put it out there. My mom and I
Tara's like, okay, live ended.
Like, my mother, crap, you're not going to like what I say next. My mom and I have not talked in years. She's not my fan. She is not, I'll be very honest. She does not the best way I can put it, and I don't know if she would say it, she doesn't like me. I guess she used to tell me all the time, I love you, but I don't like you. That's what I grew up with. I have 4 other siblings that she engages with and talks to. This is just the nature of these are our dynamics. And I'm okay with it. Yeah, it sucks. There's times I want to call my mom and I just call Carrie or Amber or one of the Shenanigans group. And my big sister, Robin, she's not really my big sister, but she's my cousin. But our mothers are sisters. And so that's why I'm like, oh, my mom, crap, this is kind of not, man, whatever you tell her, just be honest, because she's going to believe the negative about me anyway. So it is what it is. So that's okay. I'm trying to get down to,
You're way behind.
I am. I'm so far behind on the comments. I'm like 20 minutes behind on them. So I'll jump ahead. I'm going to jump ahead to the comments. And if I miss something, then there's that comment. I know it's good.
See, I told you.
Oh, good. For fuck's sake. I'm struggling over here. I'm like, that's my only cathartic release. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a whole bunch of ones. We have a whole bunch of ones from our group. Oh,
what does that mean? Can somebody enlighten me on?
Yes,
I forgot.
Told them to put ones in the group, but they follow us on the true crime side, and they came over here because they're
Cool.
they're true crime followers. So they come over here, and there's a whole bunch of them, and I recognize all of them. That is awesome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Now you guys just have to stay here. Keep coming back. And okay. Oh, you sent, okay, juxtaposition. I will read that in just a second. Oh. Do you mind if I share that with juxtaposition? I just read the text. Can I share that with Carrie? I presume I can, but I want you're okay with that because I'll hide shit from Carrie. I just don't want to, but I don't have to. Oh, goodness. Yes, so do we, Margaret. So do we. This is why Carrie is pushing me so damn hard. Like, get your channel going and do it now. I'm like, nobody's gonna come and listen to us. She's like, so what? Who cares? Let's just go talk. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I really want to give a huge thank you to Yep.
Yes.
She kind of opened the doorway for this conversation to happen, and with that came a lot of healing, a lot of apologies, and that's wonderful. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. So thank you so much, Yep. And I'm going to put her channel link.
Yes, please do. You're the other admin in this? You're the other seat, right, Carrie? You have that power. Then I don't know who's in the seat. I didn't check it before. I am.
I hope I do.
I hope so too. I need to buy the thing where I have like 10 seats so that Amber can have power too. It's fun to have the power and put stuff up there. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me jog on down to the bottom. I only pay for StreamYard. She pays for her subscribers. She only pays for, what do you mean juxtaposition by that? What do you mean? There's Yep's. So Yep's channel is awesome. She is out there investigating YouTube channels, which is cool. You can get a temperature. You can gauge how other YouTubers are doing their business. So now if we show up on her channel, damn, that's gonna suck. I'm not gonna, that'll be kind of gross, but go check out her channel and subscribe to it. It's very interesting. She's been doing a lot of great work there. I trust her. She's somebody I've given information to. So she's very happy to have her here. And I'm glad she's modding tonight. So thank you, Yep, for modding. And thank you, Phoebe, for modding as well. Hey, Robert with True Crime Podcast. I think I know who you are. Are you based?
You do.
Hi, buddy. I know who you are. Welcome.
Hi.
I'm glad you're here. That is awesome.
Gosh.
I won't out you, but I know who you are. I'm kind of that makes me a little bit happy. I'm not gonna lie. I wish you were here 20 minutes earlier to join the conversation because I think you would have enjoyed it. Oh, she says I always pay for my YouTube and StreamYard like she pays more than anyone else. Okay, so you don't pay for a YouTube channel, folks. You pay for YouTube services like if you get cable So I don't use the local cable service anymore in the Wichita area. I use YouTube because it's way cheaper. I get all the same channels. I know what channels I watch. I'm boring. I watch the same crap all the time. So I pay for YouTube TV. I am not paying YouTube for my channel at all. Any of my channels. And I have 2 that are nothing. They're just out there so I can watch other crap. This is the one that I have and I'm not paying for it. I do have a StreamYard account that I pay for. I know Carrie has one that she pays for. That allows us some administrative functionality that we wouldn't otherwise have on. There is a free version. There is a free
There's
version
a
of
free
Premiere.
version. And then the next one up is $25.
Derek's here. Hi, Derek. No, wait. Damn it. Where's that at? The chats are moving fast. There's Derek. Hello, Derek.
It did. Derek, I
Hello,
just
Derek.
looked that up because I was like, let me see what the pricing is. Yeah,
It-
25 a month. That's
Oof.
not what it used to be.
No.
But mine just automatically comes out of my account. I never check to see what I'm paying. But
So
yeah, so
mad when
25 a month.
So when I had to switch over from the Terra Talks to Shenanigans, that change happened as I was making that switch. I was so mad, but like, oh, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, so Derek is here and Robert is here. These guys, I wish you guys were here just earlier, but we can continue the conversation.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. If you guys feel Fisk and fine enough, I'll throw you the link. You guys can come up with us and openly chat. If not, you're cool. But I'm so happy you guys are here. We have been talking about another YouTube creator that caused a lot of challenges for us that Carrie and I were not prepared. We weren't prepared for the challenges associated with the case. And so to have to deal with outside challenges made our jobs so much harder. So let me know if you guys want to come up and
And real quick, I just want to say something because I see the chat. Cash is not a troll. Cash has been on YouTube for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
In all the chats that I'm in, that Yep's in.
Ornery as hell.
Very ornery. That's a
Sounds
great
like
description.
it.
Also British. My dad's British, so I get that sense of humor. But Cash isn't a troll. So yeah, Yep will deal with Cash.
Yeah. So Yep,
just smack him around.
Yes, Yep Yep and Cash are directly connected. And so Cash will, again, this is Shenanigans. We are going to allow certain types of rhetoric. What we won't allow is destructive rhetoric. Anything that's posing an issue on pot stirs, no. Challenging questions are welcome. The hard, challenging questions that make you uncomfortable, make you think, those are welcome. But anything that's intentionally destructive, like you're just going to stir the pot, that's an automatic, you're out. And that applies to the Facebook group as well. If you're going to report stuff on there, we've seen some stuff reported on the Facebook group for the Kansas moms. If you're reporting because your butt hurt, there's actually consequences for that on that group. You're going to not be allowed to engage with the group for a couple of days. You do it again, then you're going to be suspended. You'll be grounded for a week. I think is how I put it in the rules. You do it for a third time, I'll kick you out. If I let you come back and you do it a fourth time, I'll just fucking ban you. Blinging. I'm trying. I'll just flipping ban you because I'm not going to have somebody in there that's causing problems on purpose. But I will have somebody in there, and Amber can tell you this. Carrie can tell you this. I will pose the challenging questions. I will make you uncomfortable to extend your comfort boundaries on purpose. So I see that as a skill set, as a gift, not as a bad thing. So Yep has totally been on par with that. She's totally very, very good with that.
That's amazing. She's very well respected in the true crime community.
Derek, we were just talking about your buddy.
Oh gosh,
that's so
rude.
The
next rumor.
It
was all like, good.
I'm so out. We can totally. If she can see you, we can see you, Robert. But again, I'm behind on the chat moves so dang quick. I need Carrie. Can you see the chat too, Carrie, on your side? Can you control it or no? Okay, because I thought you were highlighting.
I can't click anything. You have to make me a whatever thing.
I don't know how to do that from the live side.
I think you have to set it up in your settings.
I think so too, and I missed that. I missed that. That's all right. So I like this. I feel like I have found my people. I wish you were all on here more often. I feel like I can relate to a lot of topics being discussed. but I love the laughter thrown in between the vulnerability. We're going to go weekly. That's the after what I'm seeing tonight. Amber and I did that with the other Shenanigans crew. We've done a couple. They were live, but we didn't produce them, so there was nobody watching. But the videos are out there. We put this out there. Carrie has been pushing me. She pushed, God love her. She was pushing it on the true crime side. She was giving me shameless plugs because I'm like, I won't mention it. She's like, I'll mention it for you. I'm like, that's so rude. But thank you. And so we, the Shenanigans crew, were trying to come up with the day of the week. I think so. This is where we need to talk to Carrie because I'm on 2 lives a week. Carrie is on 2 lives a week now because she's gonna have to keep coming to Shenanigans because she does super well on live despite the fact she hates it. So we will have a weekly, and it just because us 3 are here tonight, there may be another 3 that are leading the conversation. So it's going to be rotational, but it'll be very good. So we're going to keep doing this more and more because I think it's super, super important to have that space to openly talk. And I'm behind on the chat again. Let me see if I can.
I will be right back.
Yes, you will.
I got to go to the restroom.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I agree. Juxtaposition. Derek's done a good job with the Kansas mom's case. Tara needs a curse jar.
I think we all do. Oh
I'm-
gosh.
I am
Imagine
okay.
how much money we would save.
Oh God, no. I mean,
We could all take a
damn, no.
wonderful vacation together.
What was funny is I didn't curse, and I didn't curse till high school, right? And I would just say things like, oh, nuts, oh, darn. And one of my friends is like, you can say, oh, shit, right? Like, it's okay. Your parents aren't around. I'm like, no, I can't. They'll know. Like, they know everything. Eventually figured out they didn't. So it worked out really well. Oh, ahead of time, please forgive me if I say things wrong. I have brain injury from an accident. Can't say things right. You are good. We've got the seat. You just lead with that, Patrick. If you tell people that, you'd be surprised how forgiving people are. So totally cool that you said that. Thank you for putting that out there. Every time that we're in a chat, just put that out there ahead of time. And those of us that are watching it, we will get in that protective mode and let people know there is a factor in here to consider. So thank you. That is what I'm talking about. So in the rules of the Facebook group and on any of the Shenanigans chats, if you're a jerk, lead with that. If you know there's something about you that is off-putting to others, just lead with it. We'll support you on it. No big deal. But thank you, Patrick, for putting that out there. I appreciate it. You can unsubscribe from channels and still have access to lives and read chat. Correct. Absolutely correct on that one. How far behind in the chat am I? Good Lord. I feel like I'm okay. I'm catching up. Okay. I'm caught up.
I just want to know about this podcast about drunk women solving crime.
Hey, that sounds like
Where's
a
that
fun
at?
Sounds
podcast.
like
Oh my gosh.
fun.
Cash is invited to be on it every time.
Because this
Well,
might come from the fact.
unsubscribing now.
So you might be making fun of me, I presume, because the last night we did our true crime. I just gotten home, Amber. I told the girls we've got the Shenanigans, and we need to create a group chat with Carrie. I told the Shenanigans girls I broke down in Guyman. I'm trying to get my car situation figured out. I'm 4.5 hours from home. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I finally got home.
It's a real podcast.
It is a real podcast. Dang, I don't feel so good anymore. I thought he was talking about me. Screw you, Cash, man. I thought you were pointing me out. But that's okay. That's okay. I still love you. It's fine. Whatever. It's not a big deal. But anyway, that last night I got home 45 minutes before we went live, and we had to move the timing because I was getting home late. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going online with a glass of wine again. Our last podcast, it was one of those days where I'm like, I'm just going to have a glass of wine while I do the podcast, whatever. And so I thought he was making fun of me, but he's not. He's rolling his eyes at me now and laughing at me. So, and then little Irish girl is with us. I'm excited. Little Irish girl is awesome.
Hi, little Irish girl.
She is outstanding. She helped us with another case up in Milwaukee. So I'm glad she's here. That is so awesome. At least Fake Trust Con has been shut down because people told it was sad and shady. Good. Cool. I like it. I like it. The chat is freaking on fire. This is awesome. You guys are outstanding.
They're talking a lot. That's wonderful.
I love it. And that was one of the rules. You need to engage with us. You've got to engage. And so, but coming back around, and again, Derek and Robert, if you want the link, we'd be happy to have your experiences firsthand. We don't need to mention names. We're just talking about the experience, not the person necessarily. And
Yes.
so if you want to come up, if there's, and quite honestly, if there's other people in the chat who want to come up, let me know. I don't have any problem letting anybody up on chat if you feel Fisk and fine enough to come up and talk about your experience. We're talking about the toxic personalities, how they develop those controlling characteristics, gaslighting, manipulation. They're all tools that they use on specific individuals, right? It's not just anybody. I'm past the point of being manipulated and gaslit. I see those signs quite a bit. And so I'm not ideal prey for those individuals. They tend to dislike me heavily. Ask Amber about her ex-husband. That man and I did not. I won't go to prison for too many things, but that one I would go to prison for happily. I'd walk myself in there and be like, I'm guilty just because I killed that jackrabbit. I did. I took him out. He was that awful of a person. So Amber, what are you drinking? I meant to ask you originally, but I forgot.
Vodka water with lime.
Okay.
Nothing special.
Nothing special. It's just simple.
It's hot. I wanted something cold.
Nice. Outstanding.
Ashley, it's good to see you too.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. I'm glad you're here. I didn't see Sophie in the chat. I was hoping she would be able to join us tonight, but we'll get her next time. There's so many that I'm glad to see in the chat. That's freaking awesome. I'm excited. But so we've been talking about the other YouTube creator that caused a lot of issues for us, and this is going to be a shenanigan.
That is cute. That's adorable.
It is. That is my Uncle Kevin. I love my Uncle Kevin.
How sweet.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So my mother and I are not fans of one another. This is my mother's brother. I love this man. He is so thoughtful. He is so mindful. I'm so glad.
That's wonderful.
What's really cool is we only found each other maybe a year ago. Maybe it's a whole shenanigans. We'll do a genealogy shenanigans. That's where this comes in.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. So let's not talk about that.
Only my family could be this just jacked up, but we will do that. So I am glad you're here, Uncle Kevin. Thank you. I love you. That is so awesome that he's here. I'm so happy. That makes my day. He says he's proud of me. So even better. I'm scoring every which way. Oh my goodness. Yes.
That's what she said. Sorry.
There we are. There we are. There's the shenanigans right there. Correct, Justice. She hasn't blocked me yet, or maybe she has blocked me and I just don't know. But so we've been talking about another YouTube creator that created challenges for us. That leads into the toxic behavior that some of these people have. I know I've got a lot of experience with toxic behaviors and toxic relationships, and I know several of us in the chat do too. You're more than welcome to say, hey, let me join the chat if you want to come up here. Link. We will definitely put a link there.
And it doesn't have to be about this one person. It's the
no,
in general. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard to have those people in our lives, especially if they're permanent fixtures, if they're, close siblings. I know somebody who was married 13 years. She's in the middle of divorce. And I know who Smarty Blonde is. And I am so that one, I'm going to hit on that one, Smarty Blonde. I am so going to hit on that. We get stuck in marriages. And actually, this is a great segue. Smarty Blonde is a friend of mine. And she was in a toxic marriage. Actually, Amber, do you remember my second marriage and the reception? And there was a speech. There was a very specific speech.
Oh, yeah, I remember that speech.
That was a very much it was more of a love letter than it was a speech.
Yeah.
It made the entire
it made everybody uncomfortable.
It made we had my second marriage. The reception was in my house, and this individual was a very close friend of mine at the time. I was involved in very heavily toxic relationships, one after another, friendships and romantic relationships. My second husband was not toxic. Let me be very clear on that. And so Amber, Smarty Blonde just divorced that individual. about 3 years ago.
I'm sorry. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Yes, congratulations.
You are going to meet
Oh.
her. I love this woman. When she was in such a toxic relationship, it was one of those things that when I was going through my divorce from my second marriage, because I made some poor decisions, she was highly pressured to release the friendship with me. She had to terminate the friendship with me, and I knew why. And that was about. We've been divorced. Good Lord, my daughter is 14. She was 2, so 12 years. And just a few weeks ago, I got a Facebook message from her, and I was like, "Oh my!" Our Facebook request. I'm like, "Oh, she must be divorced. Like, there's no way she could possibly be allowed to talk to me if this." And so I accepted the Facebook request, and I took a couple of breathing moments, and then I messaged her. I'm like, "Hey, it's good to hear from you." She's like, "Oh my God, thank you for accepting my request." I didn't think you would. I'm like, "Oh, of course I would. You are adorable." Like I knew why you couldn't talk to me, because he was so toxic. Everybody tried to tell me. I didn't see it. And he was one of my dear friends at the time. We were very, very close. And it was just because I was so used to that kind of personality. And eventually, because of my second marriage, I lost the friendship. I lost her. So it's kind of like you and I, Amber, that a relationship kind of got in the way. And it didn't take Smarty Blonde and I 10 years like it did you and I. But um, we're gonna reconnect this weekend and share some stories. She's got some tea for me. We actually need to give her. She needs to come up on a Shenanigans chat and be able to open up on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
No, Smarty, and I know I can't use your real name. Otherwise, you'd use your real name. No, Smarty. No, it's not
We've
about
all been there.
It's not that you never should have done that. I knew what you were up against, and actually, Amber knew him super well, and she never liked him. She was always upset with me anytime I'd invite him anywhere. He was one of my best friends. I was super close with him. So no, that's one of those things where we just get trapped and we become hyper focused on what they want. And you were doing what you thought was the right thing. I knew that. I didn't hold it against you at all. Never have, or I wouldn't have accepted the friend request. I had thought about you many, many, many a times. And remember, we used to Smarty Blonde and I used to go to wine tastings together, and she'd be like, "How do you know the difference between a dry wine and a red wine?" And I was still getting my wine palate to me, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, the dry wine kind of leaves you feeling a little bit dry, and the sweet wines, they did literally taste sweet." She's like, "Oh, that makes sense." Like, we'd have really cool conversations about wine, and she really enjoyed exploring it with me. And so I just, she was very, very cool to hang out with, a great conversationalist. And so Smarty Blonde does not owe me an apology at all. I know what you were up against. And I totally understand it. I wouldn't give that man the time of day. In fact, I'd like to go head to head with him. Unfortunately, that individual, this is what is crazy, and he's not the only one I know that's done this. He's become a licensed counselor, Amber.
Oh my.
Yeah, he can counsel people.
On what? How to not brush their teeth?
Well,
How to not cut their hair? I mean,
cutting it's one thing. Grooming is different.
right. The
Grooming
general hygiene of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's one of those things. It's one of those things where you make decisions because somebody pressures you to do what they want you to do. They gaslight you and they bully you. I mean, and this gal and I got along so super well. I'm excited for you girls to meet her because she is just fun, and she is a easygoing, supportive spirit. And so I'm very excited to have an opportunity to see her this weekend and catch up, because I know what she went through, and I feel she put up with him way longer than we did. Shit, way longer. And I don't know, how long were you two married, Smarty? It was quite a bit. I think they were married for quite a while. So it's but that's one of those things. That's what toxic people do. They trap you.
Yes.
You feel like you can't get out. You feel like you've got nowhere to go until you finally just get so damn frustrated. You just take a risk almost mindlessly, I think. Q3.
Q3.
Was that 3? Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was 13 years. Yeah. I was
Okay.
thinking it was close to 13 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think social media
13 years together.
makes
Yeah.
it so much worse because, you know, we don't do this to people in real life, do we? I never have.
Mm.
It's just not
Not,
something we do.
not really.
I haven't, but I've had it done to me in real life.
It's because you're behind a screen. Nobody knows what you look like. And you
Mhm.
can say, you think that you can say and do whatever you please. And people won't call it out of fear of being exposed. And by being exposed, I don't mean that exposed for being a bad person. I mean exactly what they're talking about, CB Slinger in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Your pictures, if you've got an arrest record, you know, that's not anybody else's business, truly. Unless you're like, you know, a murderer or something like that, that's a different story. But I don't think any of us here are. Your children's pictures, your address, your home, that is what keeps people from speaking out on it. So it's easier just to brush it to the side and pray that it goes away. And a lot of times it will, but a lot of times it just doesn't.
Yeah.
She had his phone number scrolling on her
Yes.
live.
That's the truth.
Yes, that
God.
individual, that's what we were trying to describe. This individual, and so I'm going to put it out there again because now we've got 58, 59 watching. I feel super confident one of them is going to go report back to her. That's fine. You have full permission to report this channel to her. That's great. She has full permission to report this channel. That's fine. I'll come up with another way because it's an open forum, and I made that very clear to begin with. And so if you're going to report back to her, if you're screen recording right now, because I know that's what you're doing on the other channel. I know you're taking the documents from the other channel. I know you're screen recording from the other channel, and you're taking that individual has not come up with one piece of organic information in the entirety of the case. So I know everybody's been feeding her something. Cool. Do it. I'm telling you to do it. She can start doxing me. She can slander me. She can attack me all she wants tomorrow. I don't care. I don't have a retaliatory urge towards her at
I
all.
don't either.
But when you go out there and you violate people virtually that way, because that is virtual violation. When you take their personal information they hold so dear, it's like when they outed Carrie and her real name. They thought it was funny. Now, why do you think somebody comes to YouTube on a true crime angle under a pseudonym? Just like writers who write under assumed names. It's for protection purposes. It's to protect their families, their livelihood. And you think
and in my case, it was even more. I don't know what the right word is, but I was actually on the ground with 5 murderers running around.
Yeah.
That's scary for them to have your real name. There are definite consequences of doing that to people. And that was my biggest problem with it. You know, I went on my next live and I'm like, oh, hey, this is my real name. You know, I don't really care. It's just that I came to YouTube with that because I'd actually done like some coloring book kind of thing on Amazon. So it was Carrie Moody Books. Carrie was because that's my best friend's name. And Moody is because I was moody the day that I did it. That's it. It's that simple. That's where my name came from.
I love it.
And then it just stuck as my channel grew. You know, it'd be really hard to change my name at this point. So,
Yeah.
but obviously, you know, you don't really want people knowing your names, especially in true crime. But unless you're telling somebody who you are on a live or in a video, that's nobody else should have the power to do that,
No.
to expose you personally.
That is such, I'll put it out there because I'm in that position where after years and years of abuse and toxic behaviors geared towards me, I'm tired of living in fear. That's why I wanted this space to be available so people didn't have to live in fear. They didn't have to be afraid to speak up. They could say it here if they couldn't say it anywhere else. That individual's abusive. Flat out, bottom line. I've seen the rhetoric on the chat. I've heard her. It's abuse. It's flat out abuse. And it's awful because there's individuals who should not have to be exposed to that. She's not the only one. There's several
Right.
out there. But when you've been exposed to it enough times, you see it, you recognize it, and you know to back off. By day 3, I told Carrie, I'm done. I know the nature of this individual. I'm done. If you want to work with her, good for you. I'd like to work with you, but I'm not doing it with her. And she's like, nope, I'm actually calling you about that. I'm like, I am done. And so it's it's hard because you can't go out there on any other channel and say it. And as I'm watching the viewership, we're literally gaining more viewers by the second. So I know it's going to get back to her. And I am okay with that. I'm okay if she's mad at me. I'm okay if she's upset with me. This is not a shots fired. We have a space to share our experiences. This is not a retaliation. This is not, I'll get you back. This is not revenge. This is, I can't tell you how I feel about you without you getting sideways with me. So I'll just go over to Shenanigans and openly talk about it. So Little Irish Girl, we are talking about another creator. You know how to get a hold of me privately. I will give you the information, but we've talked to you about that individual before. Hello, Chloe. And our guest is Amber. She's one of the Shenanigans crew. There was an, for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, I'm the creator of Shenanigans because Carrie bullied me into it. She said I do good on lives. And so this
Speaking
is all
of
her
bullies,
And so I've got a group of travel girlfriends, which Carrie is going to have to join us because she heard about the lake experience. She's like, those are my kind of girls. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. And so she's going to be joining us. But there's a group of us girls that travel together, and we decided that we had some really great conversations, really raw conversations. Carrie's like, you've got to put this stuff out there. People need a space for this. So Shenanigans was born. It was originally called Terra Talks. I love the woman who came up with the name. I hate the damn name. I did not like Terra Talks. The Shenanigans crew agreed with me. Not a cool name because we wanted the channel to be about everybody, not me. And so I love the name Shenanigans. We kind of put a female twist to it by putting that she and emphasis there. And it's just it just felt good. I think, Amber, I think our group chat, when we talked about it, it felt good.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
and nobody's using that name. That was the great thing about it.
I have no idea how, like, it. Yeah, I'm speechless. Anyway,
I'm shocked.
good for
Yeah,
us
and
for grabbing it.
probably with me coming from the true crime community, my ideas for Tara were like, let victims of families that have been impacted on social media by other people on social media, or victims of sexual abuse crimes, or the topic we're talking about tonight, like toxic family, just all those different kinds of things that we really don't get to talk about. We don't feel safe talking about a lot of those things. And that's what I think Tara, wants plans to do that here.
Mhm.
So lots of
Yep.
different conversations.
Oh, it's gonna,
Mhm.
like you said, I tried to have an open forum in Wichita a couple of years ago. The concept was appealing to people, but it scared them to be in the same room talking about things like human sex trafficking, suicide, toxic relationships, abuse. It really frightens people to be in the same room. And somebody made the comment, but when you're behind a keyboard and you feel like you can, and you've got a name, like a handle, you can kind of safely sit behind, not hide behind, but safely sit behind. It makes a
Especially
difference.
if you're not showing your face. And I don't ever say anybody needs to show their face. That's
Right.
100%. That is your option. And I understand why people don't. I totally get that. So I don't, and I'm sure Tara, if anybody ever wants to come up on the panel, she would be happy to send you a link in the chat, and you don't have to turn your camera on.
No, not at all. You can keep the camera off. My first time on a live was with the other person on that live, and they're like, turn your camera off. I'm like, but why? I'm fine. No big deal. And they're like, it's YouTube, turn it off. I'm like, yeah, I'll just leave it on. Change your name. I'm good. It's great. I don't mind it. And for those of you that don't know, while Tara Parker is my name, it's not my legal name. It's part of my legal name. My legal name is Tara Parker Tong. And no, I did not marry a Chinese dude that was all that tall. I'm 6'1". No, he's not Chinese. I get that a lot, actually. My ex-husband, I have both my last names are from my previous marriages, and I've got kids by those marriages. But professionally, I tried Tara Parker Tong, and everybody stopped me and would have to ask, like, how do you spell that? And is he Chinese? And it's like, just go with Tara Parker. Like, that's good. It's fine. So if you get out there and like, oh, that's not her real name, it's my professional name. It's just easy. That's all. So we'll just put that out there because I'm sure there's gonna be somebody that comes back and it's like, that's not your real name. Correct. Accurate.
Right.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
you know they
not.
will.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm waiting for it. But I am
She
6'1".
lied.
So there, and I wear heels because they double as weapons when used correctly. So I'm just saying. And it's funny, nobody's like, bring me up on chat, cowards. Nobody's willing. I get it. It's fine. Not a big deal. I like that Phoebe is posing this question to Maxine is how long she's asking specifically how long it took to see that individual's true character. That's another interesting aspect about those kinds of relationships, those kind of individuals. When do you realize? I mean, I had people telling me for a long time about my first husband, who's he's a better man with his second wife. He was not good with me. We were oil and water, but I had a lot of people telling me, bad, don't, no, absolutely not. I know with you two, it takes me, I'm a slow learner I used to be a slow learner when it came to people, and then I got my wits about myself. I'm a little bit faster now, and I get that. Carrie and I've talked several times. We're like, do you trust that person? Like, I don't know. I kind of feel an oogie. I don't think so. And then we're like, oh, it's totally oogie. Totally oogie. But how long does it take you guys? Does your spidey senses kick in quicker now after having the experiences?
So I can speak for me. I think that my spidey senses kick in quick, and I've always had a very good, strong gut feeling. The problem has been I don't always follow that gut feeling. When I do, things work out perfect. When I ignore it and I push it away, that's when things like this happen. So
And a test.
trust your gut feelings, trust them, and then don't hang
I try to
around. If you don't feel
rationalize
good
it.
about something.
That's my problem.
You and Carrie the same goddamn
Yes, I do the
stupid
same.
damn way.
Mhm.
That's the thing that drives me crazy about the both. That you two remind me of each other when you two both do that whole back and forthy thing. I'm like, you already know the answer. Just go with it.
Yeah.
But
I try very hard to
it's
give people
hard
the
to
benefit of the doubt, and and to like sometimes I feel bad for them even.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to
Or it's
interrupt
just
you.
like something simple like that gut feeling doesn't make sense.
Right.
So why am I having it? And then I start just second guessing myself because I'm like,
Yes.
okay, well, if it doesn't make sense, then it must just be, my femme tuition being stupid today. Maybe my estrogen's off. I don't know. And so I ignore it because I'm like, everything looks so perfect
your femme
that I just
tuition.
this tiny little feeling like, no, I'm not going to listen to that because it just everything seems to make sense. And so then I'll follow that path, and sure enough, I'll get burned every time.
Yeah, and some people are really good at making you feel important,
Mhm.
but behind the scenes, it's a different situation. And
Yep.
that's like what you're just saying, Amber. When I called Tara and I'm like, "Is this red flags or not?" I'm 50 years old. Why would I second guess myself? I should have
Mhm.
called and said, "There's red flags, blah blah blah." But instead, I had to say and ask, "Are you feeling and seeing the same things?"
Mhm.
So we need to stop doubting ourselves. I think if your
Correct.
gut's telling you something, whatever that situation is, you need
Yeah.
to listen to it.
Mhm.
That's so that it's
Agree.
funny. I crack up, Amber, that you call it femme. Say it again.
Femme tuition.
Intuition. I cracked up at that because that's such a thing, right? We have women's intuition, right? That's a thing. We don't have men's intuition. They say women's intuition because we can take
Uh-huh.
an infant, and if our maternal instincts kick in, we know
Mhm.
the wet diaper cry from the poopy diaper cry from the I'm cold cry to the I'm hungry cry to the I just want to be caught. Like the cries all sound the same to everybody else, but we can hear it just like our dogs today because we're too old for
Yeah.
kids.
We
But
know
I
what
know
they're
what
telling us.
We know what the dog's bark means. It means, oh, that's a hungry bark. And that is same thing. It's that femtuition, that women's intuition that kicks in. It's there for a damn reason. It is actually there for a reason. It's by design. If it's higher power, God, alternate universe, whatever the fuck it is, sorry, blinging, it is there for a reason. And it took, but that's that self-trust.
It's why we got burned at stakes for being witches.
God, here we go. Oh God.
Do you see Cash's comment?
Which one?
Very soft women get.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I am perimenopause. I am not afraid to say that. I know that Amber is too. We are both on.
No, I'm past.
Are you?
I'm post. I'm fully on hormones. It's.
I had a partial hysterectomy a few years ago, so I'm in my perimenopausal state. Not supposed to be, but here I am because that's what happens. And so
we're old. We're old. Just
I'm not old. No, I am not old.
We're old.
No, that's cute. It's so funny you think that. But
you can't claim to be Gen X and not old in the same sentence. I'm sorry.
No, we can't. That's the whole beauty of our generation. We are not old. We make 50 look like last year's 20. Like we are cool.
That's true. But looks does not
80,
say.
Our 80-year-olds are going to look like.
But we don't feel 20.
It depends. Sometimes I feel 16. It depends what mood I'm in.
No, I'm just tired.
Just tired. Testosterone, honey. Testosterone. Oh my gosh. But that's the thing is we have all these pre-set notions in us. But and maybe this is where I'm not keeping up a chat, you guys. So Phoebe and Yep, point something out to me if I miss it. I'm trying to keep up a chat, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. Oh my God, Robert, thank you. That's awesome. So Robert just subbed me. He subbed that. For those of you that aren't familiar, that means subscribe to me. Thank you, Robert. That's truly very, very fucking cool. Thank you. Tara, you don't look like a woman who's in perimenopause. Okay, so I'm 45, folks. I am 45. I do not appear to be 45. That is because I actually have a medical condition, which everybody's now going to want. But before you get on that train, I have a very specific medical condition that impacts the collagen in my skin. So my skin's very stretchy. Like I can stretch it out a little further than most people can on both, so my skin's stretchy. I don't get wrinkles the same way that most people do because I have something called Ehlers-Danlos. That is a collagen-based disorder. Mine is very specific to my vascular system. So the point being, I'll give you my kryptonite is if you hit me and cause internal bleeding, I'm fucking dead. That's it. They won't get to me in time. The collagen in my vascular system does not operate the same way as most people. So if you cut me open, I won't naturally just like the veins will naturally try to close. If it's not a super bad cut, I have to have medical attention for a lot of things. So when you see somebody like me, I'll hit something very lightly, like on my arms, and I get a bruise, or I'll wake up with bruises. And I'm like, where the hell did that come from? So that's why I have a very youthful look to me. I have a very youthful personality as well. I'm very bold in my personality. Carrie and Amber will both attest to that one because I don't give a fuck. I just like, if you don't like me, cool. That means I'm doing my job right.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. And so that's why I don't look my age. I have a almost 24-year-old. I have a 21-year-old and a 14-year-old. No, I was not 12 when I got pregnant with the 24-year-old. I was 21 when I had that kid. And he's out there rolling his eyes at me right now because he can hear me, but he won't watch the show. So I'm just saying. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate the kind words. I do get that a lot. In fact, it's funny. My beau is not watching tonight. I wish he was, because when we started dating 8 years ago, he thought he was approaching a 33-year-old. He was 45 at the time. So he was a little bit like, oh, this is, he's like, I hope she's okay with somebody this much older. And he asked me my age and I'm like, I'm 37. He's like, oh my God, that's way better than 33. I'm like, what the hell? What does that have to do with anything? He's like, I felt like this was going to be awkward. I'm like, now you're making it weird, dumbass. Just be confident. It's fine. I like confidence. So that's a long story short of why I don't look the age that I do. And you would think after all the stress I've been under with some of the people I've been engaged with, and because I used to be a very high anxiety, high panicky person with the people that I was raised by, the relationships that I was involved in, but I got past all of that. And now I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, if you don't like me, we're good. I'm ask Amber. There's times we used to go to the bar together. She'd be like, turn off your bitch face, put on your nice face. I'm like, I don't want to. She's like, but you will. Some guy walk up to her, she's like, don't. I'm like, he's an asshole. She's like, just wait to find out. Like, I don't need to find out. I can tell he's walking like an asshole. That's how I know. But so
This chat's pretty funny, by the way.
this chat is awesome. I
It's
love it.
I felt like I was kind of giggling at the wrong time, but it was because I was reading
No,
the chat.
I'm watching the chat at the same time, and we have got an awesome fucking chat. And there's not been any rudeness because people are just allowed to be who they are and put out like I have a head injury, so say something sideways, just know that's like that. It's awesome. I freaking love it. I'm that's stoked. I'm extremely happy with the way this is going. So I'm like, nobody's gonna show up, nobody's gonna care, but they do. They very much do. So, Carrie's mentioned she's 50. I'm 45. Amber, how old are you?
48.
So you're a happy medium. At this point in time in our lives, are you guys still dealing with toxic people on a regular basis in your life, like everyday living, or are they all out?
We are always surrounded by toxic people. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to deal with them in your day-to-day life because they're just going to be there. I mean, gosh, I could talk about the job that I just got out of because my goodness, talk about toxicity. Wow. But you know what? I just got to thank him because, it's going to take me to, wherever I go next, which is going to be even greater. So who cares?
That's a wonderful way to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, they challenge you and, sometimes you just got to take that challenge and try to do something good with it. But
agreed.
I mean, as far as like close relationships, no. No.
I'd say that's a big nope from me also.
Yeah, I'm very picky about who I allow in my life anymore. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Life is way too short to be dealing with anybody that makes you unhappy, uncomfortable, miserable, or anything else. It's just too short for it. But I think as we get older, we kind of figure that out because I definitely was not like this my whole life. I was not as laid back.
No.
I was a fireball. And I mean, I was bad.
I was just too much of a people pleaser. And
I had one temper. I had a temper.
No, I was just too much of a people pleaser. And so it's those people just kind of get invited into your life.
They gravitate to you.
They do. And now I'm definitely moving away from that. So yeah.
I've seen what you've dated. Like I've known you a long time.
Hey, I've seen what you've dated too. Don't you talk to me like that.
Oh yeah, I can trump you. I know what you married. So there.
Same.
No,
same.
Tomato, whatever.
Same.
Derek made a really good comment. I'm trying to scroll up.
Where's it at?
Okay,
Robert,
I'll just read it. I don't know if you'll find it. He said, I feel like people show their true colors pretty soon. I think we have more trouble giving up on a person. We hope that we are wrong.
Yes.
That is so true.
Where's that comment at? What's the timestamp on that comment?
9:02.
I am almost to it. Derek makes a
very well
That's
said.
Perfect. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
I never
God.
thought about it that way, but it's us not wanting to give up on them, or we think that we're wrong. Like Amber was saying earlier, it's second guessing ourselves and not giving ourselves enough credit. But how true is that?
That's awesome. That's a wonderful way to put that, because it's looking back on my relationships, and I'll be, like I said, transparent. This will be the first time, and this will be the only space rather openly with everybody where I can be super transparent. This is how I feel about my mom. I didn't want to give up on her. And despite the fact, and Amber's been there, she has seen what I have gone through with my mother. And there's a few people who have, and my beau has. I didn't want to give up on her. I truly wanted to believe there was a chance there. My first marriage was hard to give up on. But I'll be super honest, Amber was hard to give up on because of the guy she was dating. That guy was so fucking toxic. It was impacting my children. That's how far he could reach, is he got to my kids using her kid. It was Amber. I adore Amber. Amber was one of the very few people where she was the real first person where I truly trusted I had for life. I had some abandonment issues and trust issues, and Amber was a big part of me getting past that. And then she got with Asshat, and I was just like, and I threatened that guy on multiple occasions. It was the one dude, and we'll do a Shenanigans about, if you could true crime somebody, how would you do it? And I have told Amber how I would do it. She's like, actually, I like that idea. And I'll actually, she's like, you've thought this through. I'm like, oh, I definitely need to see some suffering, only because I went 10 years without this woman. We were apart for 10 years because I could not manage her ex-husband, especially when he's impacting my children. And so it was hard to give up on her because I could not manage him. I could not. I knew I didn't have to, because he was not my problem. He was hers. But I adored her. I love her. I did not want to give up on her. And I literally just one day, I was done. I stopped communicating with there was a group of gals. I stopped communicating with all of them. Ironically, it was her ex-husband that reached out to me and said, you really need to contact Amber. She's upset. She's upset you won't talk to her. I was like, I'm not fucking talking to you. Get the fuck away from me. But I didn't have any other recourse. It went to my children. I couldn't find another way out of it. So it was it's really, really hard, because those kind of personalities come at you in every direction. They don't just come at you directly. This was an indirect hit to me through my best friend. And I said, Amber was the only family I had. She was the only person, the only support system I had. That was it. Which is funny. She's almost as short as you are, Carrie. So that's saying a lot. She had to hold up a lot of people. And just so we're all clear, Tara uses inappropriate humor at inappropriate times to build, like, I'll bring us down, then I'll pull us back up. So get used to the yin yang balance. That's all there is to it.
When you come from the kind of background that we have, I feel like if you're going to talk about serious things, you just got to throw some inappropriate humor in there sometimes. It's the only way to get through it, because if you're not laughing, you're crying.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You say that often.
And I don't mind a good cry, but at the same time, I'd
rather laugh.
Yes. I don't like crying.
No.
No, and I almost cried the other day in Guy, and I'm like, I'm never getting out of here. I'm never leaving.
Okay, well, you had kind of good reason.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. Oh my gosh. At Shenanigans, I work with two awesome creators. One of them rescued me from my RC. Robert, I went back when I figured out the connection between you and that creator, and I told Carrie I found the connection. I went back and I watched those videos of you and that creator, and I learned a lot, and I took that back to Carrie. It's like, you know what? I honestly and truly think that ship will sink itself. That's why we took the high road. And Carrie can attest to those specific words. That ship will sink itself. We don't have to do anything. We just have to have endurance, which that's what you guys can see my tat on my arm. At least you've probably noticed it. It's 3 triangles. It's the past, the present, the future. It's a memorial triangle for a friend of mine. She passed away, but she was one of our best friends from high school. The other best friend and I got the memorial tat. But the past triangle has a side that says perseverance, because you need perseverance for the past. The middle triangle says strength, because you need strength today. The forward triangle is the future triangle, and it says endurance. And so Carrie and I knew we had to have endurance to move forward with this channel and this case, despite what we were going through. And so, Robert, we saw you go through it, and that gave us hope that we could get through it.
Very early on, actually.
Yes. Yeah, real. I found that quick. I'm like, oh, I would love to share this, because I learned about the the whole channel situation and what transpired and what navigated back and forth, I'll put it. And we could have easily deconstructed that channel if we wanted to, but I'm not about destruction. I'm not about revenge. I'm not about retaliation. Those kind of ships sink themselves. They don't need help. And that's what we're
Yes.
watching in real life.
Yeah, and
So
I really am a whole lot about not flaming the fire. So, you talk on one person, they talk on you, then back and forth. I don't do that shit. I don't do that. I'm not even going to speak on you. In this case, this situation, it affected a lot of people. That's why we're speaking on it.
yeah,
If it was just me, it affected, I would probably never say a word about it.
correct. No, it was highly impactful. Blinging, thank you for being here. Thank you for your kind words. We will definitely be doing this more often. The response
Yes,
tonight
right, Bling.
was more than I expected, quite honestly. I don't get nervous about things. I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be people showing up tonight. Holy crap, we should probably do something cool. So thank you for being here, Blinging. I'll try to watch my language, but I'm not going to fucking guarantee anything. But love you.
Love how you slipped that in there. That was
Tried.
great.
I tried.
Love you, Blingy.
That's awesome. King of Spades, we live in a toxic world and people are definitely growing more cold. There are some that are definitely
Yeah, I
growing
agree.
more cold. I do think so.
But the warm ones are getting warmer.
There are some really good warm ones, and that's why we need a channel like this to come
Yes.
together and have these conversations and strengthen ourselves for sure. People were waiting for your show, Tara. I know. I
That's
saw
so awesome.
I saw the comments,
Mhm.
and you guys hear it all the time, right? Thank you so much. That means so much. Quite honestly, after what I've been through the last couple of weeks, seeing that was on the minds of folks was really super helpful to me and really encouraged me to push this night. And I pulled it on the Shenanigans crew. I'm like, hey, who's available tonight? And one's like, I can't do it tonight. And Amber's like, I can. I'm like, good enough. Let's go. Like, whatever it is, we'll just go. And so it's really, Ashley, between you and the other folks out there, you guys, your support, Carrie's support, the Shenanigans crew, knowing the need is out there, that there is a desire. I appreciate that. I would have second guessed it, and I don't second guess myself very often, but things like this, I do it for work. But people at work have to watch it. They're paid to watch this kind of things. I podcast at work. And so this is very, very cool that you guys were eager to see this. We had that like 20 that showed up in the beginning. We're up to, we've been as high as 60 viewers tonight. So it's been very, very cool. And I appreciate it so much. So thank you guys for pushing. I appreciate and keep pushing, because if you guys push me, I have to push the Shenanigans crew and Carrie. So it's like a little domino effect. It works out well.
Maxine had a really good question because I want to bring it up because I think that we might have talked about this privately, Tara. But she said, couldn't get there.
Where's the timestamp?
It was just a minute ago.
Oh, let me drop down to the bottom of the chat.
Okay. She said, I agree, but do you think they would believe the warning talking about new mods or new people in the person's life, things like that?
Nope.
My stance on that is no. It makes you look bad. That's going to be their takeaway. You're starting drama. They're going to be mad at you for it because their ears are already shut off. They don't want to believe it. And sadly, we just have to find out those things for ourselves. That's the position I typically take.
Amber, I'll let you talk before I get long-winded about it.
Yep, said Cash.
Sorry, I'm catching up over here.
So is it worthwhile?
Well, I mean, God, that's so true, though. I mean, I kind of switching back to relationships other than, the podcasting, but your girlfriends sometimes will warn you.
Yes.
And you just get mad at the girlfriends.
Yep.
So it's tough. It's tough being the messenger when it comes to stuff like this because,
it really is.
people will just think, oh, they felt like they got wronged, so they
Yeah.
just want to say something, shitty about somebody. And yeah.
It reminds me of like domestic violence is the
Mhm.
worst call that police officers get because it's
Yeah.
scary. Because
Mhm.
one part of the couple is going to call 911. They want help. They get there, and all of a sudden, that officer's ganged up on by both parties. You,
Yeah.
you see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
that officer's the bad guy because he's trying to help. So I think sometimes
Exactly.
it's
Mhm.
best just to stay out of it, stay as far away from it as possible, and let things naturally occur because they will. They always will.
They do. And I've done a lot of coaching with women in toxic relationships, and I currently am a mod for a group that's one of those "Are we dating the same guy?" groups. It's not the national level one, it's literally a local level one. We don't have the same name, but it's the same concept. And in that group, um, there are women who are trying to warn other women, and I tell them, don't, you're not posting that. We do not approve posts that are specific about warning other women. They post things to say, hey, is there any tea? What's your experience? But when it comes down to the actual warning of the certain red flags, no, they won't listen. People want to know, hey, do
Mhm.
you know this woman because my ex is dating her and I want to warn her? It won't work. She's dating him because she thinks she's found Mr. Right. She thinks she's found the man, and he's already told her, you're crazy. You are
Mhm.
crazy. And if you reach out to him, or to her rather, in that fashion of, you don't know what you're getting into, this guy's awful, you are validating the crazy. He has already covered his bases. He's already made himself look like the victim. Just let her learn her lesson. Unfortunately, and I
Yeah.
don't like
And
this.
it's hard to watch. It is
It
hard to watch.
is.
Oh, it's
Exactly.
so
'Cause
hard.
I don't like to see women go through that. At the same time, if a woman is willing to go through that, she's probably not the woman I'm going to want to hang out with, because that's what she's looking for. And she hasn't figured herself out. And that's what she needs to do. Everybody should have themselves figured out before they get into a relationship, because you don't know,
Yeah.
if you don't know what you can offer yourself, then you have no idea what you can offer somebody else, quite honestly.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's something I've always told my
Yeah.
kids. You have to be you have to be somebody that is good enough on your own before you have
Yes,
anything to be able to offer somebody else and to keep yourself out of those kind of relationships with friends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, whatever it might be.
absolutely. Absolutely. Uh-oh, the curse jar just got brought back up again. Margaret, send me the curse jar. Just put one in the mail for me. Just send me, message me. I will send you my address. You can send me because I'll be going on a fancy vacation. Robert, if you want to contact me, can definitely have that conversation with you. Not opposed at all. So I will put in the Shenanigans email, and I'll put in the burner number that we use. You guys can contact me that way. Thank you, Phoebe. That is the Facebook for Shenanigans. I just created the Facebook group today. I've just started sending invites out. It's going to be the same thing here, just in keyboard warrior mode, except if you have a Facebook, your name's attached to it. So keep that in mind. But
Yeah.
there's the same rules apply there, and those rules are there. Reporting is going to be taken in a case by case situation, because it's going to be open, raw conversation. And so that's what this whole space is about. Curse jar's getting full. How big of a
When we're
curse
on
jar
our
do you
good, we're
have?
on our best behavior.
I was gonna say, ask Amber. I'm pretty light tonight. This is my cathartic. Cursing is my cathartic. I don't mindlessly curse. I intentionally curse, because that is my. What word do I want to use to make myself? I am lacking other stress outlets, folks. So cursing is my only stress
Right.
outlet. Screw you. I'm going to curse. God, gosh darn it. Blink, but blinking left so I can use Lord's name.
You can say whatever you want now.
I fucking can now, can't I? God damn it. Oops. No. I will be good. I'll be nice. I'm just being funny. I'm just being funny. Yes, hard to watch, but yeah, that's how I learned. People
Yeah.
had to watch me learn my lesson the hard way, and that's if they're good learners, they will figure it out every
And
time.
I remember saying, Tara, um, how hurt I was by some of those mods. And I remember
Yeah,
talking to you about it because I was like, they were so nice. I thought they were really good people Like, what did I do to them to have deserved this? And even after that, there was this big part of me that wanted to approach and be like, look, this is what you're dealing with. But that's what we've been talking about. That does not work. You just
Mm-mm.
can't.
No, but they've all come back and made amends with us.
Yes.
They've been
And I think that's a
awesome.
big thing is when you see you've done wrong,
Yes, and
just
there's
apologizing means it's huge. It's huge to offer somebody a sincere apology.
well, and you know what? I'm not much for apologies myself, but
Right.
I'm one that is, if you identify your actions and tell me how you're going to change them, that's better than an apology for me,
Yes,
especially when you back it
absolutely.
up. So I don't even need and I'm sorry. And I tell folks at work, don't apologize for being late to a meeting. If you're working, don't apologize for working.
Just
It's
don't
a
do it
meeting.
again.
Well, I don't care if that's what to me a sorry means. That's why I've raised my kids to understand that a sorry is basically permission to do it again. I'm sorry I'm late, which means I'll be late again. I'm sorry that I lied, but I'll lie again. It's, you know what? I did this thing and that was not the right thing to do. This is why I think it's not the right thing to do. And I need to work on changing it. I will change it, or will you work with me on changing it? That means more to me than oh, I'm sorry. Um, Me and my beau, we don't do the whole apology thing. That's not how we operate. It's very much identifying what our actions were and how they were wrong and how to adjust those actions so they're not wrong anymore. That means more to me than anything else.
Yep, saying that
Oh,
she got blocked from our group. Yep, just email me with the name that you use, and I'll make sure that that's taken care of.
you, you, YouTube legal has been subpoenaed for everything RC channel by some. Ho, 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 ho. What's great
It's
about
rough.
that, Robert? What's great about that? I will tell you, a lot of those videos have been taken down because that YouTube channel owner thinks if they are taken down, they cannot be obtained.
That's a very common misconception on YouTube.
Yeah, because if they're not on their channel, even if you delete them from your channel, they're still on the server, folks. They
Or
are
somebody
at,
has clipped them or something. It's
well,
forever.
just for funsies, I downloaded all of them. So if they can't get to them, hit me up. I have them, which was, yeah, I did that on purpose. So, I'm not super religious, but one Bible verse I found solace in: forgive them, for they know not what they do. Usually people trash me, don't know what I do, don't know what I know. Correct. Forgiveness in Derek, I think you'll probably be on the same page. And I know Amber is, I know Carrie is. Forgiveness is an internal power. If you
Yes.
wait for somebody to say I'm sorry, then you are holding yourself emotionally hostage based on another person's actions. You don't. The one thing I heard that was the coolest thing I ever heard was from it's that singing show. It's that karaoke singing show, America's Got Talent or something, with Simon Cowell. Remember that feedback guy? He was real nasty with his feedback. There was a black woman, big. She was very heavy. God, she was a great singer. Holy crap. And Simon Cowell made a comment about her weight in terms of we'll need a bigger stage for Hollywood when she goes. She found out about it. They invited her to Hollywood and she's like, I accept. And by the way, Simon, I know what you said about me and I forgive you. And I don't need an apology from you to forgive you. Like, it was the most profound and powerful self-serving thing I have ever heard anybody say is, I don't need your apology to forgive you. And so there's been many a times that I've told somebody when they're like, I'm sorry, I'm like, I forgave you before that happened. That doesn't mean I'm going to allow you back in.
Right.
There's a big difference. So that's a great point, Derek. I'm glad you made that. That's awesome that you added that.
Yes.
Very awesome. Oh my goodness. No, Narcissist Hunter, I don't know what your other name is because I know you're under another name.
Yeah.
You guys, we were all under the same issues. Carrie and I just happened to be in a position, and like there's things that Carrie saw that were straight out untruths, lies, fabrications that she heard that person tell her mods. She can be very convincing. She can be very manipulative. She can be she can gaslight. That's not something to be sorry about. It's one of those things where it was easy to buy into because she comes across with such a sense of confidence that it's comforting. But it comes to that point. I've seen it several times in the chat tonight when you say, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. I say this, and I've been saying this because somebody said it to me a few years ago, and I love it. A lion does not have to announce itself.
Amen.
So if you have to say that you are something, it's probably a good thing to look into, because maybe there's more there to realize. Derek, in some cases, yes. In other cases, I think she may be just playing the part to appeal to the people she needs to appeal to. I think there's a balance there. But some of the stuff I think she does, I think there is some things that she says that she does absolutely believe. So
yeah, Yep, and Little Irish and Cash. We all know of another creator that's exactly the same way. And I do believe she believes what she says, and that is super scary. Super scary. Yep has covered her on her channel as well.
yes. Well, I cannot believe it. We are into 2 hours. We're over 2 hours in. Like, it's just flown by. I thought we would do, like, Amber, when we did the last 2 videos, we got like an hour in. We're like, okay, we're good. We're done. We're just, blah, thanks. Have a good time. And 2 hours in, and that was with no viewers. Nobody was in the chat. Ryan come up on panel with us, and we had a really good conversation with him, which I think we need to revisit. But this is amazing. More than 2 hours in, Carrie, I can't believe, I'm not going to say you're right, but you were right. you were
I'm always right.
You know what? You know how you said
I'm the oldest.
You know how you said you and Jim were so much, you and Bo were so much alike? Yes, right there. And he would appreciate that from you so much. But yeah, so
see, my whole life I've always been the youngest of all my friends, youngest of my husbands. Yes, I did say multiple. I'm kind of a slow learner. It took me a long while to catch on to things. So yeah, for me to be like the oldest, this is weird.
Well, I mean, there's some perks to being the oldest. I don't know that we'll necessarily like honor the oldest, like not talk up when you're talking up, but we will definitely buy you some sort of strange sort of gag gift for your
great
for your eldership.
I'm just happy that I'm no longer the oldest. So thank you.
You know what? Actually, Robert, we could probably keep going on, but it's 9:30 at night. So I think people will drop off. I mean, we're back up to 61 viewers. That's pretty freaking awesome. We've been very steady. I'm very excited about this. But we will be back on here next week. I don't know what day next week. I think Tuesday sounded good, but Carrie and
I were thinking Tuesday, yeah.
But Carrie and I try to go live on Tuesdays. We keep getting pushed to Wednesdays.
Wednesdays are fine. Wednesdays are fine for me.
So I think, and I know Tuesdays we're working. Carrie and I try to do Tuesdays, but we kept getting pushed to Wednesday for one reason or another. So it sounds like
I think it's meant to be that my channel's on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So it sounds like Shenanigans will start appearing Tuesday nights at around 7ish, and then Carrie Moody True Crime will be on Wednesdays, and we try to start around 7 as well. And so if we are a few minutes late. If I see that we're going to be a few minutes late on either channel, I may start to, pop in and share fun anecdotes to get the crowd warmed up like an opening act. We'll see. Oh God, Cash! Then change your day, Cash. We're trying to please the people here.
But wait, Phoebe's on Tuesday too.
We need to. Okay, we'll work this out. We'll figure out a day.
Phoebe, what time do you do on Tuesday nights?
Yeah, what time do you guys go on Tuesdays? Is 7 a bad?
And where? Where at?
Yeah, what is, for fuck's sake? Yes, for fuck's sake, we know. 12 hours, Robert?
Oh my God. No.
Dude.
Oh God, I would be so drained. A 2-hour live drains me. Like, I'm getting better about it now that we've done more lives.
Yes,
but in the beginning.
Wow. 8 p.m. Eastern, 9. So 8 p.m. her time is 7 p.m. our time. So we will figure this out. We will, if you guys go to the Facebook group, Shenanigans, it's the same spelling, I think. And you can message me there. Let me know what times. I really would like to try to kind of appeal to the masses, because we had such a great conversation tonight. And I know that it's a good space to have. Thank you, Biscotti. I
Yeah, and
appreciate that.
we like to support, others that are doing or doing
Yes, I don't
good.
want to compete. I want
So
to support.
yeah, we don't want to compete,
Absolutely.
but
So
definitely
we will figure it out. We
let's
will figure out
figure
the
that out.
shenanigans is not done. We'll figure out which night of the week. We'll try to be consistent about that, but we will be back next week. As far as subjects for next week, I we could, I know recently because my mother-in-law passed, and that was a pretty delicate situation. We had to watch her in the hospital, take that downward spiral. That can be a very difficult thing to talk about. So we can, maybe we'll kind of get into that situation. I think I'm in a space where I can open up and talk about that. It's not fun to talk about, not just because it was an end of life situation, but there was some angles to it that were that I shared with Carrie and Amber and the Shenanigans crew that were really trying for me to have to deal with directly. We'll put it that way. So she was drunk. I love that he admits that. That's awesome. And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that works out. I'm glad you're owning it. I had to go back and find that one and listen to parts of that, Robert.
Right?
So if you guys have ideas about difficult conversations, challenging things that you can't talk about, yes, Narcissist Hunter, please do. You message me. Let me know. Use the Facebook group, the burner number. Let me put that stuff back in there, and or the email. I have to remember the burner number. Sometimes I forget. Oh, I shouldn't.
Drunken shenanigans ensued.
That's
I
probably
mean,
going to happen one of these days.
I don't think that's a bad thing, honestly. I
No,
mean,
I think that's probably going to end up being our most popular show.
well, and we were actually supposed the night that we were at the lake, we were supposed to go and do a live that night.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
That was not
because
a
we
good
all
idea.
got far too drunk far too early in the day.
right.
So no.
Not gonna happen again. Let me check my email again because I don't.
That little Irish girl, right? I can agree with you there.
I'm so far gone on YouTube.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see my
Exactly.
drunk lives, that's for sure.
Awesome. Gotta make sure I'm spelling the email right. It's shenanigans. Oh gosh, darn it, shenanigans. Okay, I think I got it right. So in the chat, I'm putting the burner number. You can text that anonymously. It's the number I use for true crime, so I'll respond to you that way. The email for Shenanigans is there as well. It's shenaniganstalks@gmail.com. There's a Facebook group on there. Phoebe's put that up a few times. Oh, she put it up there again. She is damn good. Dang, we need to make sure we don't interfere with her lives. Um, and so we will just, if you have ideas, things that you want talked about, tell me. We'll bring them up, and you don't have to be the one that brings them up. We'll bring them up and we'll explore them. That's what this channel is all about. I did not expect us to go over 2 hours, so that's kind of the cool thing about it. We've had a good steady audience. The chat has been, they've just been awesome. Carrie was like last night, there's not a single issue in the chat. I don't think the mods were too challenged. I think it's
We
just been
just had
enjoyable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Well, no,
and
and
she was in
Phoebe.
and out. So
Yeah, and well,
did we
that
have
last
Phoebe
night.
last night?
No. Last night we just had Yep, and she was in and out. But the chat last night was awesome. It's been awesome tonight. But Carrie and Amber, thank you for being a part of the conversation, being open and honest with things. I think when we do that, we give permission to others to be open and honest about their situation. There's a lot of things out there that say, there's a lot of supportive rhetoric out there, which is good. But there's a difference in supportive rhetoric and rhetoric that is, or a conversation that says, I have been there, I know what you went through, and this is my experience. So it gives that permission to have the experience openly versus hiding it. And so I appreciate both of you coming clean, so to speak, about things.
Absolutely.
Especially with the YouTube stuff, the social media stuff, and that damn fly. He's not invited next time. But I thank you so much for the open conversation. Folks in the chat, thank you for being open as well. Thank you for being respectful of the rules. We wanted to talk about the experiences, our interpretation of our experiences, and not name names. That was not the point. It was to openly discuss without getting the whole finger pointing blame game thing going. And so I think we were very successful in that tonight. So I am looking forward to future chats. I was not expecting to have 52 people in this live watching. That's
Well, and Phoebe made a good point. This is a Thursday night, and you're doing good with the amount of viewers in here. So you might even consider Thursday nights.
if we may do that. Just whoever shows up on Thursday, we may do that because it's been. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you very much. So we may do that. Thursday nights works. I can make that work. So, but to everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Everybody who is not in the chat but are watching silently, thank you. If you're on YouTube but you're using your own name, but you do want to say something, again, go back to that burner number, go back to that email. You can send me information. I won't tell anybody who you are. Or you can start a different YouTube account with a handle. You should be able to come into there's ways to get into these spaces without using your real name. So, and if you come on to the live anytime, you can come on. You get to choose your name when you come onto the live. You don't have to use your actual name. And so, just know that you've got a space to. You've got a place to sit behind so you can speak openly, because it's very important that we do. And Run for Justice, I'm going to look for that email. But thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and kind of wind us down. It's 2.5 hours in. I'm floored, and I kind of want to end on the high note that we're all on. So thank you, everybody, for being
thank
here.
you.
We will.
Yeah, thank you.
We will see you guys next week, and have a good night. Rest well, folks.
Bye.
Bye.